just as long as I get there safe, like I really don't care. Like,
but that's what submission is. That's what submission is that you.
Down that I think everybody is at some point deserving to receive love and to be even into marriage if they do aspire for marriage.
I believe that society shapes how we view things and how we look at things in our life.
Make your own bed. And that's basically what Kevin Samuels is saying. His delivery is what people kind of throws people off. But basically,
aggressive or like violent, like where I think toxic masculinity is
no offense to men, that they also get this idea that, you know, women are just going to take care of them and everything is going to be like easy.
A domestic violence shelter, and he brought her up to be, you know, a $25,000.
Hell yeah, you need to judge in dating. It is what it is. You know, you can't not judge people just because you feel bad about it. Like, you need to know.
As much as I love my daughter, there are some harsh realities and some things that her mother and I teach her in order to help her to understand. And
like, I'm sure everyone knows a woman that, you know, had sex with the
What's going on? Welcome back to CKQ Podcast. I'm your host. I was just on his phone. I got caught on his phone. But today we're going to be having a show a lot more about marriage and what all takes mentally going into it. But let's introduce our regular panelists. We got our usual Chris.
hi everyone. I hope that you're doing well. Happy Tuesday. My name is Chris, and you guys can find me on YouTube at The Blooming Ebony and also on Instagram at The Blooming Ebony. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way in and like the video.
We got the doctor.
What's up, everybody? My name's John, and you can find me on Black Wall Street Trading, behavioral_consultant on IG. Also be looking out for my new platform where we're going to deal with psychological concepts. We're going to talk about depression, anxiety, and a lot of other things. So I'll be starting that pretty soon. I'll keep you posted.
Okay. So while we wait for everyone else to roll in, let's start off with the basic topic that I have in mind, marriage. All right. Are people actually ready for it nowadays? And what actually goes behind stepping into a marriage or even being comfortable divorcing from a marriage? Let's go all that it entails. So let's start with the first question. Should you be a whole person before stepping into marriage? Should you be a whole person before stepping into marriage? Chris?
To be honest, I don't think anyone really knows what that means. I think what it meant for me, or means for me, is I should be able to deal with my own emotions. I should know when I need, basically I should be my own peace, right? Whatever you can get from that person, you should be able to somewhat provide it for yourself. You still need some type of dependency, right? Or that person wouldn't really have a place in your life. But when it comes to dealing with your emotions and being alone and feeling comfortable being alone, and when it comes to your self-esteem, a lot of those things should come from yourself. Your self-confidence, you should kind of know the things that you want, and you should have boundaries set before entering into a marriage. You should have your values set before entering into a marriage. You should know whether or not you want kids. You can have that discussion before you get married. Things like that you should have somewhat decided. You should know what path you're on before you try and take that path with someone else.
So you said I think you said know yourself. You should know yourself. Right.
Possibly. I said that. I said a lot in there.
Okay, because I feel like you said know yourself, and
you should know your personal boundaries and the things that you value. So in that sense, you should know yourself.
Okay.
Those things specifically.
If you don't have strong boundaries in specific areas of your life, you still think you should be moving forward and trying to create a life with someone else?
It depends on what those areas are. But in short answer, no. For example, I think, like, okay, if you want to be married, right, you shouldn't be in situations where you're having one night stands, right? Like, you should have strong enough boundaries to not explore those things, hoping that they turn something more than that, right? So not having strong enough boundaries could lead to you becoming like a people pleaser and ending up in situations that you don't really want to be in, but you think it's going to get you closer to your goal. So I don't think you could get married, you could move forward, but I don't think you would be very happy moving forward, because oftentimes your boundaries will probably get crossed, but because you weren't sure about them, you weren't certain, you didn't make sure you were upholding those.
Okay. Doctor, what do you think? Should be a whole person before stepping into marriage?
Well, you can't be a whole person until you become married. You living with your missing piece.
What?
So nobody's whole until they're married, period.
Okay.
So that's when you become a whole person. Then you're fully completed. She completes you, he completes her. So
okay. Then when is a proper opportune time to step into marriage then?
When you've explored when you know the general type person that you want to be with, and you're done with the curiosities that come along with being single.
Such as
one night stands, still wondering, what she feels like, what he feels like, how does he act. By this point in your life, you should know about what type person you want. And there's two type of people. You're either going to be financially where you would be better off with someone who's a builder, meaning they don't have shit and you don't have shit, but y'all willing to work together and y'all get along well enough and you complement each other well enough so those things can be accomplished. In other words, someone you could purchase a starter home with, or even live in a trailer or a small apartment in the beginning, and everybody's fine. You will celebrate that apartment just as if it was a 5-bedroom, 4-bath home. They are not expecting you to, because of maybe your age or your position in life. She is willing to accept where you are right there, and she has goals that she hasn't reached either, so she's not going to be very judgmental. But then there's later in life when you get to be about my age or somewhere, 10 around your age, or about 5 or 6 years beyond you and around my age, there's certain expectations that have to be met. And if you're in that age group and you're considering marriage, then it's not that you need to be a whole person. You need to really understand who you are. And if you're a man, you need to be like set, have your finances in order, because you're gonna give a very negative perception off the rip. Like, what have you done for the last 40 something years? and
That's
maybe
a
there's a story
good
behind
way to
it.
say it. And that's a good way to say because I didn't even think of that. Because I was thinking like, man, like, all right, so a man is only valued for his wallet, blah blah blah. But then, from her point of view, she can easily ask again. It's been 40 years.
Yeah.
Even if you take away the first 10, or
Or the first 20.
The first
What the
20.
fuck have you done for the last 27 years?
Yeah.
In my case, 27 years. Like, what
27
have you
years.
done?
Yeah.
You know, what's your story? Now, if she's interested in learning, and these are things you have to, like, so when you're dating, this is when all this comes out. So when you meet the person that you can tell your story to, and she understands, and maybe she can be, like I said, you're not complete until you're not whole until you get married. There's your missing piece. She may, you see, I'll tell you a brief story. I had a friend, I'm not gonna name his name because I've got a lot of people who watch this podcast now. They chime in, sometimes they'll say something in the chat and sometimes they won't. But they're listening. Right.
I like that.
So my friend, he was trying to wait until his life was perfect. And I just told him, I said, listen, man, dude, you got about another 10 or 15 years before you're gonna be too old. I mean, you gonna be you are like Kevin, in the words of Kevin Hart, nigga, you ain't looking for a wife, you're looking for a death buddy. Like, so just somebody to die with, because you're not gonna enjoy it. Like, by the time you get married, nigga, you be too old to enjoy vacation. You're like, this too damn far. I don't want to go this way. This is
for a honeymoon. You just go upstairs and sleep.
And take a nap. Like, yeah, we don't have a honeymoon. Like, we ain't taking no more phone calls after this one. This is it. Hell, oh, y'all getting it in? Yeah, nap time, nigga. Nap time. This is my midday nap, nigga.
Sleep on that side of the bed. I sleep on this side. We're good.
But the woman that he was able to marry was the one he was able to tell his story to, because he had a story to tell. He had, you know, he made some bad decisions with women. Credit got screwed up. Never did own a house. Blah blah blah. And he was never able to really find a job to fit his skill set. And he was experiencing some age discrimination, stuff like that at that time. I think he was like 41, 42, some shit. But he had, you know, he was qualified to do a lot of things. He was, you know, he had his paper, he had his little degree and everything. But his wife, that was now wife, had connections.
Okay.
And she was a banker. So she also showed him the fastest route to fix his credit, showed him how to maintain it. She was able to put him on her credit cards. She completed him. And then within 3 years of them being married, he's got a 700 plus credit score. They was able to buy a house. And she didn't look down on him. So now this could have went one or two ways.
Mm-hmm.
He could have lied and made her think that he was right where he was supposed to be. And then the truth come out. Now he's a liar. You're a liar. You lie. You're a liar. Mm-hmm. And then she don't want him no more. But he was honest, and she helped him.
Give a quick shout out to the people in the chat. To Made, good to see you as always. Appreciate you for coming out, watching us. Thank you. Him versus Her Solutions. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Arshawn Dave, I see you. Thanks for dropping in, my man. If you guys are free, you have some time, hop in the chat for a little bit. I want to hear what all of you guys actually think about this. Should you be a whole person before stepping into a marriage? Should you be a whole person before stepping into a marriage? Peace to CKQ, peace to the whole panel, actually. Nice to see you too. Hi, Alex. Good to see you. I agree, John, but we all have to know who or what we want to be until we meet that person who make us feel secure or comfortable, I'm assuming, in who we are. Us find who we're looking for. But sorry to disagree. We're waiting on the rest of it. Never too old or too young or whole to learn or love. Too old to. Am I reading this right? Am I kind of going crazy? Can one of you guys read it?
No, too old. We're never too old.
Okay, so it's not just me.
Love. You're just typing fast. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. I was about to say, like, am I dyslexic right now? Like, what's going on?
Well, no, like she I mean, she actually agreeing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I was saying. Like you have to know enough about you to know who you can tell your story to. You have to know where you are, and you have to own where you are. And if the person you're dating is not willing to accept who you are, where you are right now, it's not the person. You don't try to fit to that person. And that's what's wrong with a lot of people when they get in these bad marriages. They try to fit to that person when it should just come like this. It should be as natural as breathing.
Yeah.
And if it's not, I said this, I don't know, in one of the first 2 or 3 podcasts ago. So that's been a long damn time back. You're not, the chances of the next person you going on a date with being the right one is fucking slim and none. So just get that out your head. Stop dating saying, is this the one? The first date, you ain't gonna know. The second date, you won't know. The third date, you won't know. Just hang out with the motherfucker. And then in the meanwhile, start working on yourself. You should already be working on yourself, but you should focus more on enhancing who you are. Because when you're busy working on you and you're with someone, that person's behavior will start to reveal how they fit in your life, whether or not they fit in your system. Do you understand?
Interesting. Okay.
They will let you know. Because here's the thing. Regardless, how serious can you take a person if you tell them, well, you know, I'm working on this, I'm working on that. And see, I don't tell anybody this, but this is how I used to determine things. If I tell you what I'm working on and you discount what I'm working on, right? And demand time from me, I immediately categorize you as someone I'm not going to be with. Like you go right there immediately. And then I distance myself from you. You start getting the long handle teaspoon, and eventually I'll just tell you what we are. Because what I'm doing doesn't matter. So I don't need to be in any type of serious relationship with you when you just showed me that I really don't matter. But John, what if it's just right now? Nigga, at any point, if I don't matter, I don't have to wait to see how much I don't matter. Because you're telling me that you are more important than I am.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what that discounting means. That you are placing yourself in front of me always. Well, what if it's just right now? What if it's not? And more than likely, it's not going to be just right now. If they're that comfortable in the beginning, nigga, that's the honeymoon phase. That's when everybody on their best behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And they are already showing you. You better believe what the hell she's showing you or he's showing you. And stop trying to make like it's something else. No, nigga, that's what it is. He or she, it feels like they're more important. They need time now, right now. I don't care what you got going on. See, the behavior will let you know. They don't have to come out, and because you'll never get them to say that.
Okay, so to both of you, I want to hear both of your thoughts. What are some key things in you as a person you think need to have whole before deciding, okay, key things parts. So it doesn't have to be everything about you, but what are some key parts about you that you find need to be whole or need to be firmly intact before you can move ahead or move forward into a serious relationship or marriage, or I know what, marriage. I won't ever say serious relationship. I'm going to say marriage because that's really the goal for a lot of people, I would think.
Can you ask that again? What are the key things?
What are the key things in you as a singular person that you find need to be firmly intact before you can move forward ahead with a marriage? Because of everything, obviously, you can't be a whole person. You know, there's not everything's going to be 100% right off the rip, but there's key things that about yourself that shouldn't be shakeable, that you can move ahead into a marriage with. What do you guys think? Chris?
One thing that I learned is that I'm introverted, and I like to be introverted, and I didn't want to be with somebody that was going to push me too far out of this introversion, because I like it. I like being quieter. There's just something about it that I like being able to listen more than I speak, and I like my personal time. And so I've dated extroverts in the past, and they get so energized off of being around people, and I just felt like I was pulling them away from the thing that's making them feel good, right? Because it was making me feel awful. So I learned then and there that this isn't something that I wanted to be a part of. So being an introvert is something that I hold dear. So I don't let people shake that. I usually date other introverts, and that works really well for me. I want children. Like, I want to be a mom someday. I want to be a wife someday. So marriage is something that I make sure that they talk about initially. If they don't want to be married, then I don't move forward with them at all. And there's some other things, but I'll let John go, and then I don't want to take too long. But those are like the two main things I can think of right now. Okay. And there's something else I'll add after John goes.
Children and them being introverted. Okay. John, what do you think?
You need to have your goals intact. You need to have your emotional regulation intact. You need to understand your strengths and weaknesses. And you need to be ready to be vulnerable, because it's gonna come out. You're about to share your life with another person. Do you know how vulnerable you have to be to do that? Nigga, you sleep. You go to sleep. They're in the house with you. Right there. Right there. They're like, well, what that's supposed to mean? Nigga, they can kill you in your damn sleep. What you mean? That's what that means. They kill you there. Me especially, because I sleep hard as hell. When I go to sleep, I'm out. I'm sleep. So yeah, you really need to know, like, that's why you have to have your goals intact, because your goals and your emotional regulation. So let's start there. If you don't have that emotional regulation under control, meaning you can control your emotions to the point to where something is not going to send you over the edge too quickly.
Okay.
Or something is not going to hurt your feelings too fast either. Like, so your coping mechanisms, you need to recognize those as well. You need to have those. Like, you can't be with a person who is you about to share your life with, and you're still hyper reactive.
Yeah. Wouldn't make sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're gonna piss you off.
Yeah.
They're gonna hurt your feelings. Are you gonna like bring it up every fucking anniversary? I remember this time last year.
You left the meatloaf
fat. Okay, and you fat this year too, motherfucker.
But clearly you didn't get the hint.
You hurt my damn feelings. Good. Maybe you'll do something about it. What? So you don't love me no more? I ain't say that. I'm just saying you fat, nigga. That's all I'm saying. Then you go out somewhere and cry, talking about I might need to see a lawyer. This bitch is disrespecting me. No, nigga, she being honest with you. Can you handle the truth?
I think I think a lot of times we don't know how to accept criticism, especially. So what I've noticed, the more people I speak to, the more I realize that sometimes you also have to understand that the way people talk is very different from how you might talk. Meaning, like, they have different mannerisms or different ways of addressing a different subject that sometimes you might find offensive, whereas in their home, with the way they grew up, that's just the normal speech. Hell, it might be even be encouraging.
Yeah.
Let's just say, for instance, if you were dating, like, I don't know, we'll say a Russian person. They are loving, but their love is very more, like, I would say, matter of factual, I'm assuming. And if you as an American are kind of used to someone running around and coddling your speech every second, if they're hitting you with the same kind of knowledge, they're doing it out of love, but they address it in a different way. And if you're not willing to try to open your mind to understand how they communicate and see the love in that, then it's going to be very hard for you to move forward with anyone, really, I think.
That's true. I like the way you brought that up from different cultural perspective, because a lot of times as Americans, and I saw this when I lived abroad, a lot of times many Americans automatically assume that everyone is going to respond like we do in America. And that is not the case. Like, that's not the case. When I was stationed in Germany, I had a Croatian girlfriend, Diana, and we did everything together. Cool. I mean, we were like besties, but we were together. And I was hanging out over there a lot. And I was if there's any soldiers listening, then they know when you're in Germany, the PT standards are way different than in America. The motherfuckers are lax. You hear me? I mean, lax. And I had fallen into that lax, and I was starting to gain weight, right? I think I went from a 34 to 36. Well, an American girlfriend probably wouldn't say nothing because it's not a big swing. But goddamn it, she did. She said something. She said, "Oh, you're getting fat." I was like,
"Oh."
I was like, "This bitch, I'm fucking fat." She's like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Let my goddamn
Damn.
She did like this. No. So she went in her closet and she pulled out this whole jogging suit, right? I was like, "What you doing?" She said, "We're about to go running. That's our date." I was like, "What?" She said, "This is our date for the next few months, or however long it takes for you to get back in the other pants." What? Like, yeah. I said, "Or what?" She said, "No sex." I said, "Shit, let's go. When we go, how far we going? Where we gotta go?" Let's go. Let's head out. You want me to run first? You want to lead the way? How you want to do it? Shit, you got me. You take away that nigga. I'm all in. Let's go. Let's get it. But that's just like, she was very blunt. Yeah. It didn't hurt. I mean, it didn't hurt my feelings because I mean, it was 34 to 36. Obviously, that's not.
It probably shocked you more than it did hurt your feelings.
It did. It shocked me at how with her saying it. It shocked the shit out of me. But to where it was like, yo, she cool as shit. She ran with me. Now, I mean, she didn't need to lose a fucking nothing. She was brick house. But she showed me, I'm gonna tell you. So what I learned from that behavior was I'm gonna always keep it 100 with you. And I'm gonna be your partner and your teammate. When you down, I'm down. I'm with you. That's what I learned from that. So you can look at someone telling you something negative, but then you got to find the positive in the action. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You have to want to see the positive, and it's hard to sometimes want to see the positive in an action when your emotions are the first thing that hit you when you hear something. You know, because it, like, yeah, we say men are logical, but you know, we still got emotions. Most of the time, we gotta feel it and then kind of shut that shit down real quick. But we still gotta feel it and try not to have it cloud our answer.
Right.
Women feel it far more, but men feel it too, and even that could still cloud our judgment a little bit. And sometimes we have to say like, all right, let me take a step back and listen to what they actually said. Was there some truth behind it? How were they saying it? What was the context behind what they were saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. Like I found I saw the whole picture, right? And I was like, wow, this right here. This is cool. And she really didn't make us run every date. So, but the dates started to be more physical things. So like we went hiking, we would go ice skating. And let me tell you something, goddamn. If you ain't never been ice skating, nigga, ooh, shit, what the calories you will burn going around that motherfucker. Because you trying to make sure you stay up. That makes you burn calories, period. Just by you trying, even if you're going around slow, but I can skate. Because I found out that ice skating and roller skating, if you could roller skate, you could ice skate.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. Because the blades.
Hold on, wait. Sorry. I want to tackle this question from Arshan real quick. Shout out to you, Arshan, for this question. What are the benefits of marriage outside of financial considerations? Tax, health insurance, shared expenses, etc. Is there anything more than a sense of obligation or security?
Better health.
Better. You know what? I want to kind of tackle this question in a different way, real quick. If getting married would make the woman feel a sense of security, why is it now so much men are against that? If you make a woman feel secure, then she's more inclined to actually kind of help you out, get on your page, because you gave her what she wanted. You're now the person that's actually giving her what she wants, putting her in the safest mind frame possible. Why is it that a lot of men are so against that nowadays? Curious. What do you guys think of that? Because this question kind of feels like that's where it's going. Is there anything more than a sense of obligation or security? What do you think, John? Because you look like you're...
Well, I mean, I kind of see, I don't know, I think Arshawn was going a different way, but I'll tackle your question, what you just said.
Okay.
If you're making a woman feel secure, you'll be surprised at how much of less of a conversation or friction you will have in that marriage. I promise you. And I'm speaking from experience. Like it's you truly, when you with somebody, when you with a woman and she feels safe and secure, financially secure, meaning she never sees any bills that are paid. Every time she open the mail and bill there, it's either already been paid and there's a credit, or there's no bills at all, or whatever. She's not fixing to say much at all negative towards you. For the most part, she's not going to be in your ear about a whole lot of things. She really isn't, because you allowing her to be in her most feminine state. She's not producing a lot of male testosterone, so she's not going to be very hyper aggressive at all. She's in the essence of her femininity. You making her feel like she's supposed to. The only thing now you have to do is remember a fucking date night, lay the wood, goddamn, and you're done. You good, smooth sailing. Period. It just becomes that easy. But if you want to run from those obligations and those things like that, then you're going to get a lot of feedback. You're going to get a lot of friction because she doesn't feel secure with you. And then there's nothing, you feel more masculine when you provide this security. And I think a lot of this negativity toward this is coming from single parents. It's too many women raising boys and not enough fathers like dealing with it. Because if you listen to how a mom will not tell you how to be a good husband. I promise you, she won't teach you that. Moms don't teach you how to be good husbands. Moms teach you how to be sweet and be gentlemen, but they do not teach you how to be good husbands. What's the one thing most mothers will tell their boy? You need to quit spending money on them goddamn women. They'll tell you that. Or she might be using you. You don't know. I'm a woman. I know. Well, then you train this boy who will eventually become a man. No. Until I know exactly what you want, I ain't giving you shit. Nothing. Not a birthday card. Nothing. Not nothing. And they don't never get rid of that. And even when they find a wife, they still like, that's where that 50-50 shit come from. You need to contribute half. You need to do this. You need to do this. And say, I don't teach my boys that. You're a provider and you're a protector. Period. Ain't no 50-50.
Chris,
pay
what
everything.
do you think about this? Sorry, John.
It depends. Like, so I like that you asked that follow-up question, because I do think that because of what's happening in manosphere, that the idea of providing security is underestimated. It's very important, right? Like that exchange is very important. And I don't think that men understand that marriage is extremely secure for the woman. And I think where the issue comes is if the divorce were to happen, right? That's where a lot of men get shaky. But there are plenty of benefits to marriage, and the financial considerations are major benefits. The tax considerations are major benefits. Like, you're considering when you marry this person, you're going to have additional cash flow for your children, right? For any offspring you choose to have, you're going to be in a better tax position to give them more money, invest more into your home. And so these things aren't small. These aren't small considerations. And then also that security, like John was saying, when it comes to femininity, is very important, especially if you're sleeping with this person. Women require more than men do to have sex with a man. Men need a private place and a yes. Women need to feel secure. They need a boost in estrogen. It has to be 17 times more than their testosterone. It has to be, a private place. They also need consent and all of that, but they need to feel comfortable, stable, and secure. And one of the best ways to offer that to somebody is through a vow, like marriage. So it has plenty of benefits. I just think that a lot of what sucks about it is the divorce laws just don't favor men at all. But security is a major benefit.
Is there more benefits that I'm not aware of?
Yeah. There are health benefits.
So
mental health and physical health.
Can I also say this to that too? I think where also the manosphere is kind of going wrong when steering a lot of men is that we're literally pairs on the planet. Every animal has a pair, a male and a female, and they all work together. As men, we can only see and steer our way through life a specific, one singular dimensional way. And a woman is supposed to be there to help us see the other aspects that we're not going to see. We complement each other. We complement each other very well, but we have to be willing to give grace to that the other party might not always have the right answer, or might not always say the right things. Hell, might not even always do the right things. But we're too quick right now. We're very hyper reactive right now. We're in a time where everyone is very like hyperbolic about the other gender, where it's like this, what do you bring to the table kind of questions. All men are trash kind of questions. Like, there's too much of that versus giving each other a little bit more grace to, like, maybe they might not know. And even if they said something, let me actually ask them about it. Let me actually question it and see where it was actually coming from. Was it a place of malice? Was it a place of hostility? Or were they just asking a general question and my emotions took it to a different path? We don't give each other that grace anymore. So I think that us wanting to remove the security or diminishing how the security plays in a marriage towards the women is just very bad for it's a very bad mindset to step into a marriage with, even if you're going to step into one. And for the ones that say, oh, I'm going to be a single bachelor forever, I mean, cool, sure, but I think that still has a clock, has a much longer clock than women's, but it still has a clock. And at some point, you're really gonna, unless you amass enough wealth, you're really gonna wonder, like, what have I done with my life? Have I actually set anything in place for my future, my kids, anything like that? But sure, you guys can chime in.
So on this part right here, this is where I thought he was going with it. There are mental health factors that you're just not going to be able to address that's going to actually exacerbate because you're single. So you weren't born to be single. No one was. I don't care what you feel. I don't care. No, I don't care about that. I know that's pretty harsh, but it's just the truth. No one was born in this world to be single. No one, not one person. And right now, you think you'll be okay with it, but no, you won't. You won't. When you get older, you will not. I promise you, you won't. Depression is a real thing, and people who are single, especially over the age of 40, depression hits them hard and often. And you think it's because, oh, I'm just depressed. No, you're not living your best you. Because you're going to be in a better place if you were married. We're social. Humans are sociable people. Doesn't mean all humans like to go around and become the socialite of the party. That's not what I'm saying. But a person can't be in solitary confinement either. So if there are laws that prohibits prisons from putting you in solitary confinement over a certain period of time, what makes you think it's okay for you to put yourself in solitary confinement on a longer time for the rest of your life? Yeah, you going out and dating, but at the end of the day, when they say goodbye, you're going back to your cell, which is your home. And once you get older and your body starts to break down, your skin starts to wrinkle, you start to develop more gray hairs, and you're just a brief picture of what you used to be. How do you think your self-esteem is going? Where do you think your self-esteem is going to be? And when you compile that on top of someone who you never found anyone, at some point you're going to sit back and think and wonder, was it you? Like, was I just not attractive enough? Did I really fuck up that bad? What kind of person was I? And you probably don't believe that right now. I get it. But I promise you, when you hit them 45 and 50 and you still single, you'll understand at that point what I was talking about. And even if you got mad money and you can be with younger women, they don't, for the most part, you're just not going to pull a younger woman like that. Like, she's going to have to find some value in being with you. Sure, younger women are attracted to older men. Certain older men, not all older men. Certain ones. And let's say that you're one of those older men, but then you're going to have another insecurity that pop up. The young stud that lives down the street, that speaks to her every day. And then how's your reactivity to that? You going to accuse her of him? Are you going to retire early so that you can keep an eye on her? See, you're going to feel like you're dating outside your class, in which you pretty much are, because you missed out on a woman who could grow with you and grow old with you, and y'all both start to decline about the same time. Where now her saggy titties complement your saggy balls. And neither one of y'all can talk about the other one. Y'all both taking damn teeth out, putting them on the nightstand. Y'all both have to put Noxzema on that night. Y'all both using damn age replenishing droplets. You're going to get some Botox shots. That's like, it's a lot. Plus, people who are married live longer.
Yeah, especially
they have
men.
more time because you have something to live for. People who are single typically die earlier. And that's,
you don't focus on your health as much too.
Huh?
Especially single guys, you don't focus on your health as much. I wouldn't say women are typically more health conscious than men are.
But they are. The research showed that a woman is most likely to go seek medical attention than a man. A woman is most likely to go seek mental health therapy than a man. A white woman is 10 times more likely than a black man, and then a white woman is twice as likely than a black woman to go seek mental health treatment. But the only reason the black woman won't is either the inability to, financially. But other than that, she'll go. But we'll have a whole goddamn human growing out our side, and we ain't going.
Never. Not even. Won't even win.
What is it? I see a foot. I got a foot coming out this side over here. Is it bad? Is it bad? Like, what do you think? Nigga, you got a whole foot growing out your side. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, I thought it'd help me run a little faster.
Why you didn't come when it was just a toe? Well, hell, I thought it was just a mole or a knot or something. I could just put some liniment on it and rub it out.
You got some Bengay.
Take some castor oil or something.
To Madre, mother.
Son.
Welcome to the panel.
Thank you. How are you guys?
Hey, how
fantastic.
You doing? Yeah. Hi, guys.
Hello to Madre.
Talk to me. What are we talking, mother? What are you talking?
We're talking about my upsetness about, excuses being made for people and their decisions right now.
What do you mean?
Yeah, because, the subject that we were talking about tonight, it's like too many excuses are being made. Women and men, we're all grown-ups. We all have our own mind, and we all have our own thoughts. And this is the first country I've known that's making so many excuses for us to not to be responsible for our own actions.
What do you mean by that? Give me an example.
Example. I've been through a whole lot of stuff in my life.
Okay.
And I've evolved to this point. And I've raised kids. I've not been perfect. And I made a lot of mistakes in my journey to raising my kids. But I try to raise them to the best of my ability. As far as being a man and being a woman. And learning how a woman should be treated. And learning how a man should treat a woman. And I recall there were times when he's like, you raised her to be so strong and you raised us to be empathetic. And I explained that I raised her to be strong because she's a woman. And she have to learn that this is how a woman should be. And she have to learn to not depend on a man to take care of her and to provide for her everything she needs and to do all these things. And even though men are strong and all of this, and they're providers and all of this, but when we as women depend on men, we are taken advantage of and we are abused in most, and I'm not going to say most cases, but there are many cases where women depend on men and they're abused because of it, because a lot of women cannot take care of themselves. And I raised my sons to be empathetic for the simple fact that I want them to learn that this is how they should treat a woman, because today or tomorrow they may have a daughter and they will have to teach her how she should be treated by a man. And it's not that we don't need men, but we want to be treated correctly. And it's just unnerving to me, to the simple fact that, you know, I know I'm older than you guys and all that by a lot. Let's not talk about that though, because age is not a factor. But I know I am, you know, up there in the ages, but we still need to teach our sons and daughters how to treat men, how to treat women, what to expect, what to not expect. And even with these reality shows and all this stuff that's going on, which is really, really, really thwarting our kids in the wrong direction, we need to be the figure that they look up to. I'm not sure if you guys are agreeing with me or disagreeing with me at this point, because nobody's saying anything.
Well, letting you finish your thoughts. That's how the panel works. We let people talk.
I have a question.
Son, you know I always talk. Yeah, but
Go ahead,
you know,
Chris.
Can I ask you a question too, Madre?
sure.
When you say you're teaching your daughter to not depend on the man, what were you teaching her to not depend on him for specifically?
I'm teaching her to not depend on him financially. I'm teaching her not to depend on him to make her feel like she's an important person, and not to depend on him to feel like she's beautiful and she can achieve everything that she set her mind to. Because in my life, you know, growing up, to my, you know, I'm not gonna say how old I am, but you know, I to from my year one to this point, I've never really had somebody that made me feel that, you know, my goals and my ambitions and my whatever it is that I'm trying to set was that important, where I can achieve it. And this is what I try to teach my daughter and teach my son. And you know what? I'm gonna be blunt with you right now, because I taught my daughter that, okay, you need to be independent and you need to be able to take care of yourself, and you need to not depend on a man, because when you depend on a man, they will treat you like shit because you cannot do anything for yourself. You need them to pay your rent. You need them to pay your whatever the case is. And I taught my sons, it's like, you need to learn to cook and, you know, do dishes and clean for yourself, because if you depend on a woman, they will feed you shit because you don't know the difference. You know, so I wanted my kids to be independent. And by the way, if my kids are that independent and they're listening, can somebody come and clean my windows?
No, you're pretty independent. You're strong and independent. You got it. You could do it yourself.
Yeah, I said I was teaching my kids to be independent. Okay, I didn't say nothing about me. Yeah, but I want them to not. I want them to be in a space where they can do for themselves and they don't need anybody else to do for them. But I also want them to be vulnerable to the point where they need somebody in their lives where they can love and show love and cherish love. You know, I don't think I was in that space where I can teach them that much of love and cherish and all of that, which is something I learned in my later years. But I did teach them to be independent and not dependent on other people to, you know, take care of certain aspects of their lives. I'm sorry, did I answer that?
Yeah. One more quick question. Sorry, John. For your daughter, does she ever say that she doesn't want to be married? Or is she old enough to be married? Can I ask how old she is?
Now, I'm not going to tell you how old she is, but she's old enough to be married, but she wants to be established before she gets to that point. because she did what she had to do. She's a nurse. She bought a house and all this other stuff, and so she's working on building her before she get into a relationship where she has to deal with another person and try to build with someone else. And I've lost a lot throughout my something life. I'm not going to say how old I am. I've lost a lot throughout that. So I want her, especially her, to have her own.
Yeah.
My sons, I know when they have their own, they're going to establish and develop and whatever the case is, because they're men. And I am hopeful that whatever it is that they were taught in their younger years and coming to this point is going to make a difference. But my daughter, it was more important for me because I've seen my mother went through so much and I've been through a lot. So it was important for me to teach my daughter that you don't have to do this. You don't have to put up with this. So, and even like on Valentine's Days, I would buy 12 roses and I will give each of my sons one. And I will give the rest to my daughter. And I will tell my sons, I give this to you so you can understand it's okay for you to receive flowers, for you to receive a rose from the person you love. You're a man, but it does not make it any less of a person if you receive a flower. You can be vulnerable.
Thank you.
John, I think you wanted to ask something. Oh, Chris, were you done? I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Thank you for answering my questions.
You're very welcome, Mama.
I don't have daughters. I got all boys. But I don't know if I had a daughter. I don't know if I'd teach her to be. I would teach her to coexist with a man. That's what I would focus on. Not so much as the independence thing. I would teach her to let me vet him or one of her brothers. I would focus on that. Because if a lot of times if a woman becomes too independent, she takes away everything that's going to make a man attracted to her. Because we have a need to be needed. And if I see that you really don't need me, I'm nothing to provide. Like, you got everything. Unless but it does attract the wrong men. The men who don't have nothing unless she's around. But if she's really independent, she may keep that man because he's not going to get in her way at all. But how is she going to address the fact that he's not really moving in the direction he needs to move in? Because it's going to be hard for him to be motivated to move, for one, and then two, it just may not be in him to do, like, to move in the right direction where he should be moving. Like, he should be trying to do like all these things. He should be preparing to be married to a woman. But a lot of men, especially in this generation here, they just don't move like that. Man, they good with 50-50 and they good with, but I mean, it still doesn't, mean that they respect their goals anymore. They just can't. It doesn't mean that matter of fact, it's more likely that they'll be into more of a transactional marriage than one of like this really substance. Because it's like, well, if I add her on my team, I'm set. And I hear these young dudes talking like that. I hear them talking like that. And I mean, I was raised by women. And they raised me. It's kind of similar to the way you raised, pretty much the same way you raised Clement. Like, I cook, clean, sew, do all that.
They don't have as mother.
I would typically take a woman's side when I typically will side with the women in just about every scenario. Like, almost always. Even if they wrong, I'm outside with them. But I walked away from an engagement because I just did not see where I fit in. I did not. She really didn't need me. And the sad thing about it is, later on, years later, you know, she decided to show me how vulnerable she was. And there was things that I was really good at that she would call on me. You know, after she got over the breakup, she would call on me. Hey, you good at this? Will you help me do this? Yeah. Hey, you good at that? Will you do this for me? Yeah. I'm like, why weren't you showing me all this when, you know, we was together? Because she was still stuck on, I was going to use it against her. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, every man ain't going to do that.
Nope.
Because if I got a woman who's got an entrepreneurial mindset and I got money saved up, what you trying to do? What you need? Let's do it. What's your plan? Because if it's gonna have to make sense to me. And I expect her to respect when I disagree with her plan because it doesn't make sense. And I've had businesses before, so I kind of know what a successful one looks like. And if she has no business plan and she's just out here flapping in the wind, then we're gonna have a serious conversation.
Can I ask a question, John?
Sure.
Where were you born and where did you grow up?
In the South, Talladega, Alabama.
See, well, I'm from the West Indies. Very different. And I see where you're coming from, and I understand everything that you're saying. But I've seen my mother been through so many abusive situations with my dad. You know, to the point where she had to run away. She tried to get us. People told him she's there, and he, you know, attacked her and all this, and she had to run and all this other stuff. So I've grown up in an era where abuse of women was normal, where people encouraged it.
Commonplace, I see.
When I came to this country, but after seeing my mother in that situation, I told myself, I'm not going to raise my children in that mentality. And when I came to this country where I had a choice, and I got to the point where I had kids, my thing was to not raise my children where my daughter is going to be abused and my sons are going to be as abusive. So I recall my son asking me, why you made us to be so empathetic and you raised her to be so strong? And I said, you know what? I raised her to be strong because I want her to be able to be independent and defend herself, you know, and to not depend on a man. And I raised you to be empathetic because today or tomorrow you may have a daughter and you will have to teach her how she should be treated by a man. And abuse should not be a part of what a woman should be expecting from a man. And while I understand everything you're saying, I feel that we need to raise our kids and point them in a direction where men learn to respect women and women can be independent, even though they're reliant on men in certain aspects. If today or tomorrow that man walk away, they can still survive on their own. And regardless of how old I am and how many relationships I've had, regardless of what I go in, really, regardless of what I go into, I don't ask men to pay my bills. I don't ask them to pay my rent. I don't ask them to pay my light bill. I don't ask them to pay cable, because you know what? If today or tomorrow that relationship ends, I still have to pay my bill. And this is what I lean on. And I treat them like kings. And once they start acting stupid, I remind them. I said, listen, I've never asked you for anything. I treated you like a king. But remember one thing, if today or tomorrow this relationship ended, make sure the only thing that I'm not going to miss is you. Okay, because that's the only thing that I look forward to in this relationship.
Okay, then.
Yeah, because I pay my own bills and whatever. And the last relationship which I had was, like 3 or 4 years ago. I was like, you know what? And he actually like, no, I want to pay this. And then he would get upset if I don't let him pay the phone bill or the cable bill. Which was like, okay, fine. You pay the cable bill. You want to leave? Take the fucking cable box. I'm sorry. I dropped the F-bomb.
Oh, no,
no. You good. Trust me. I dropped a bunch of F-bombs and every other kind of bomb.
You good.
You know what? Hold the cable box over your head when it starts snowing. But you're not taking my damn apartment because I'm paying for this shit. And I've learned over the years that we as women have to be independent. We have to know how to take care of our bills and take care of everything else. Yeah, what? Yeah. So, yeah, that. And this is why I taught my daughter that
emotional damage.
She done hit you with emotional damage.
Yeah. Yeah, this is why I taught her, build yourself, depend on yourself, build your career. When a man come into your life, you have something to bring to the table. What does he have to bring to the table? Because if all he have to bring to the table is that thing, I'm not gonna say the word because I think a lot of young people listen to this. Yeah, but it starts with a D. Then
and ends with Doc, huh?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but if that's all you have to bring to the table, then listen, a dildo costs a lot of money for a good one, but it works. Maybe so, but it still works.
Unique. How you doing?
Hi, Unique.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
Hey. I love it.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, don't apologize. And I know where your energy is coming from. I know that a lot of times that's what we do because that's what my mother did to me. My mother is very independent because my grandmother, was dependent on my grandfather, and then she was left assed out, like you said. So that happened to my grandmother. So my mother seen that, and always since she was, I think, 18, when she was ready to move out, I think she came home one time and then left, and that was it. She never was home. She always able to pay her bills, and that's what she taught me. She said, even if you live with a man, make sure you can cover that rent by yourself, because you don't know what he's gonna do. And I always thought it was good advice, and I say that it's halfway good. I would say now that some of the things she taught me made me attract somebody who's gonna always need me, and I'm not. That we're always going to. How can I explain? I've come into something now lately, like in the past 3 years, that all the things that my mother made me fear about men and being independent and making sure I make my own way, I ended up finding someone, not to say that he doesn't do anything, he does work. It's just that I found somebody who is okay with me working just as hard as he is. I found somebody who is okay.
That's what you attracted.
Yes, I attracted it because she made me fear so much of being independent. That's who I attracted.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so you attracted a man. Was this discovered after the fact or before? Because if you attracted a man and this was discovered after the fact, then you attracted the man. I've been in situations where I've been in relationships where I've dated men that made significantly less than I'm making.
Me
but
too.
The fact that that
person
person, that person, we were in a relationship. The only reason I ended relationships is because of disrespect. I am not going to be in a relationship where I'm being disrespected and threats and of physical violence and all this. I'm not going to be in that space because I've seen my mother in that space growing up. So, and this is why I raised my daughter to not be in this position. But if I am attracted to somebody mentally, my attraction is first mental before it's physical and before it's visual and all this other stuff. And
yup.
And I don't know. I know a lot of people's like, oh my God, he's cute and whatever the case is. But
that don't mean
if
that.
your mind is not there, then I don't see you.
And I agree with you, Tu Madre, because my husband is very smart. And that is how he with his, I don't know if I can say just his words, because he's not a person to mix with words that much.
Yes, he is.
When you
on
talk
paper
to him and you start to
the one that said yes, I will. Okay, thank you very much.
Stop. Let her finish.
When you talk to him, you can tell that he is very observant. He reads people, and he's very smart, and he knows some things, but he also lacks a lot of things that kind of fit my personality in a sense, because he lacked those things that I don't, and I lack some things that he does not. And what I was trying to say as far as why I attracted him, because I attracted way more worse people. My husband is the best person that I have, attracted in my life. But before then, I've been through the restraining orders. I've been through people beating me. I've been through people spitting in my face. I done been through a whole lot of different people. I'm not saying a whole lot because it's making it sound like I done had a whole lot of people. But I'm just saying I've been through I've been through relationships that
oh my God,
that ended up where I attracted the people because I was fearful of being independent and always being able to take care of myself. This is what I learned about myself now, is that I attracted them because it was something in me that I needed to learn. It was a lesson that I needed to learn. Yes, if this person is disrespecting me, beating me and all that stuff, why? Because I do something to myself that makes him think it's okay to treat me this way. So I have to look at myself to see like, well, why would you even stand for this? Because it's something in you that you like, well, it's okay to do me like that. It's something. How do I treat myself? Do I treat myself bad? Do I disrespect myself in a way? Am I not keeping my promises to my own self? So that's why I attracted somebody the same way that's doing that to me. Then I've tried to pick in a way where I wouldn't pick somebody who was violent, right? Because I came from somebody who was so violent. My husband was the person that I was with after I was with somebody who was very violent, right? My husband kind of saved me from this person. So, and I chose my husband because he wasn't the same as that person. Not to say that I chose him because of all the other things. I chose him because he didn't have that drive. He didn't have that it's all about him attitude.
That
I chose my
abusive.
husband because he was all about me. He was all about comforting me. He was all about making sure I felt good. He was all about whatever I wanted to do, he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's why I had chose him. But there were other things that I didn't see because of that, representative that you see in the beginning, because of what he showed me. And he still does it to this day, as far as supporting me, letting me make the big decisions in our lives. He still does that now. So it's not changed. And I had to realize one day, I was listening to this guy named Jason Black. I told Chris this story the other day. I was listening to this guy named Jason Black. He was talking about how guys are not really prepared and they're not really a man because they're not prepared to do this, and that. And women, if you've chosen somebody like that, it's because what do you think? You think he's going to change once you get with him? You think that he's going to all of a sudden take the lead and be in the reins? That's not him. If you chose somebody that's not like that, he's not going to all of a sudden change into that. And that's when I realized that the situation that I'm in now, the relationship that I'm in now, is because of my choices. I chose that because of my fears. So it's okay to be independent in a sense. Like, I think you should have balance. Like, you should be able to take care of yourself, because we don't have a lot of black men out here. So if you want a black man, it's scarce. So you should be able to take care of yourself. But you also have to learn a man. If you want a man, you want somebody that's going to be there and take care of you and just do it. Not ask you for permission to be a man, just be a man. You're going to have some type of energy of being vulnerable for that man to even come into your life. Else you're only going to attract somebody that needs you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're independent, you're going to attract somebody that's going to need you all the time.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's what I've learned in these past 3 years. I don't know. I just feel like it should be a balance. Yes, you should be able to take care of yourself, but you're going to have to learn how to have an energy and letting a man be a man. Else you're not going to attract one.
Yep. It's not that you're looking for a black man or a Spanish man or a historic man or a Caucasian man or whatever. You're looking for a man in general. And
I'm looking for a black man.
When we find a man, I've always been in a relationship. Well, okay. So there are times when there was one time when it was not. Okay, 2 times. I was in my teenage years, but
Clement, you never told me this.
The man was not a black man, but he was a man. But the point is, a man, when we expect him to be a man, sometimes he's not. I've been in relationships. I've had men. The last person I had that had money thought I wanted him because he had money. And the fact that he was not adequate I'm not going to say that area.
Oh, got you.
I've been with him for 2 years, almost 3 years. But he felt that this is why I was there with him, where he got it. I personally did pedi-a-mani every 2 weeks. He liked his back rub at night so he can go to sleep. I did that. He got 3 square meals and snacks in between, and we never had that. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm too tired. I'm gonna order something to eat. Can we go out to eat? He did not have that unless he was like, oh, can we order something? I got up in the morning and I made breakfast and lunch so you can have something to eat at work and something to eat before you go to work, or if you chose to take it to work, that was made. But if you coming back to my house, I cook you dinner and all of this. But because you thought I wanted your money, and like I reminded him, it's like, you know what? When you get in front of your friends and family, you treat me like something you dragged in on the bottom of your feet. Don't ask me to get dressed up to treat me like shit, because you can treat me like shit regardless of what I wear. But I respected you, okay? And whatever it is you wanted, I pleased you in that area. So I give you respect, and I expect mutual respect. I'm not going to curse and use profanities, but if we're not going to have that respect towards each other, then this is not going to work. So you need to go, because I'm not the type of person that is going to curse you out and all of this. If I'm hurt and I'm upset, I shut down. And when I shut down, I might not be upset today or tomorrow or the next few months when I shut down. I might just be upset for a minute or 5 minutes or maybe 30 minutes. But my shutdown period is so I can think. And if I cannot come out of that and you cannot bring me out of that, then I am locked in that until I can bring myself out of it. And if you don't love me enough, and like I'm saying, when I shut down, it doesn't, if I'm not saying anything and I'm not talking, it doesn't mean I don't want you sitting next to me. I might not talk to you, but your ass better be sitting on the couch. And I might look at a scary movie that you hate to look at, so I can scare the shit out of you. Yeah, but you sit next to me, that brings me comfort. And I want the person I'm with to understand me and know me. And I put that out front in every relationship. When I'm hurt and I'm upset and I'm angry, I shut down. And it is very hard. So I'm hoping for you to be that person to bring me out of that space. Okay? And if you cannot bring me out of that space, then you're not my person. We can both be upset. We can both be angry. We can both express our whatever. And you know what? We said it, we get over it, and we move on. But we don't dwell on it day after day after day after month after years, because I've learned over the years that when we don't dwell on our feelings, that
make this the last thing, because I want to get some other comments in there. So go ahead, finish up, but I want to get some other people. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I understand.
Plus,
I'm sorry. When we don't dwell on our feelings, the simplest things can trigger that anger. It's like, okay, yeah, so you didn't put the toothbrush back in the toothbrush holder and you left the coffee cup in the sink, but 20 years ago, you did this. What? I'm done.
Okay, that was a interesting place to stop. E Black, welcome to the panel, man.
What's going on, CK? John, what's going on?
What's happening, bro?
So you've been listening in, man? You've been listening in?
I caught the tail end of the conversation where we were talking about kind of doing what it takes to keep a woman, right? I'm sorry.
Well, more raising your daughter to be independent, or raising your children to be independent.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I must have caught it to where it was like you're teaching the person how to be independent. Yeah. Okay.
So I guess what do you got to say for what you've heard? What did you want to comment on?
I'm raising a daughter, and I was actually in the Black Manosphere conference, right? A guy actually came up. He said that he was raising a daughter, 2 daughters. His wife had passed away. And he said that, I was raising my daughters to be independent, like Biggie. He said that exactly. He's like, they're going to have everything. But then he realized that, no, I need to raise these women to have, or these young girls to get a man, fall under his leadership. And it's a balance. It's a balance. We don't want to see our children in homelessness situations and struggling in life because of economic differences or classation. But at the same time, we also understand as men that the short answer is that if you utilize your femininity and sexuality, I hate to say it like that, but if you utilize your femininity and sexuality, that will almost guarantee you coverage in today's society from a man.
That's fact.
So it's like I said, I'm trying not to be long-winded, but like I said, the way that we try to raise our young girls is, like I said, we want them to be self-sufficient in case the man messes up. But at the same time, we have to instill in them that this is the American society. And if you want to be successful and your goal should ultimately be under the coverage of a man working, that should be the goal. Marriage, because like we see too many single mothers. Like, yeah, you have a degree, but you're a single mother. You're working for 2 now. It's like, that's not the ideal situation. We want you to be able to, like I said, enjoy the coverage of a man and be able to take care of a child. I'm okay with that. So I'm sorry if I'm being long-winded. I'm trying not to.
No, you're not. You're not at all. You're speaking good points, bro. You honestly keep rocking.
No.
But
I know you want to say but. Who wanted to say but?
There's no but.
yeah, I'm listening for the but.
There's no but. There's a realization that this is society and this is life. Like my wife has a degree. She don't use that thing. She don't have to use that thing. She's under my coverage.
What if the table is wobbling a little bit?
And my daughter's a nurse and she used that thing.
But what does she want to be a nurse when she's 60? That's where I think it should be a balance, because do you want her to be working till she's like 60 or 70 because she don't have a man to work for her? She don't have she don't have a man that's gonna sit there and make sure she don't have to be on her feet when she's 60 years old. So
yeah, but right now she's
the balance that he's talking about. Like, yes, you can have that just in case, because the way society is, you may have to use it if stuff. But you don't want to be 60 still working as a nurse on your feet all day. Like, you want to be home relaxing. You want to be in your, you don't. That's what I realized listening to this guy named Jason Black too. Like, damn, I set myself up to be working forever.
John, you want to go?
Here's the thing.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I want to let John talk.
Go ahead, John.
So early on, I alluded to the woman that I didn't marry. She's got a couple of degrees, master's, president of the board of education, blah, blah, blah. When we were talking about marriage, you know what she was trying to get together? Her retirement plan.
Yeah.
She didn't want to work no more, but she had so much toxicity built up in her mind, she didn't know how to receive me. She did not know how to coexist with me. She never knew how to let me in. Never knew. And her behavior is what ran me off. She wasn't disrespectful, nothing like that. It just was always, she never showed me where she valued or needed me during the time we were together. So I decided not to marry her.
Okay.
And just for the record, a man would marry. I would marry someone who has no degrees at all, but she showed me that she values me.
Yeah.
Because I don't care nothing about what kind of degree she got. I got enough for both of us, so we good.
Understandable.
And most men look at it like that because we get charged off of your. For instance, when you tell, like, the minute y'all get pregnant, we get charged up. I'm talking about a real man. I ain't talking about a play toy. I ain't talking about a dude with a dick. I ain't talking about, because it's a difference. It's a big difference. Just because you got a tallywhacker, that don't mean you're a man. It means you of the male species. That's all that means.
Tallywhacker.
But when y'all get pregnant,
hey,
we get motivated to do everything. The way we nest is by working extra shifts, rubbing on your belly, connecting with you and the baby, internalizing it. This is real. This is my little family. We get extra protective. We don't let many people around y'all. We won't let you do nothing hardly, especially the bigger you get, right? That all of that gives us, like, makes us do and move how we supposed to move. And then when the baby get here, it gets worse. And it's hard for us to find that balance, but that's what we need y'all for. Because if y'all don't say nothing, we'll just go like the Energizer Bunny and work.
Can I say something, John?
Yeah.
A mother is a mother from the time she gets pregnant. A father is a father when that child arrives.
Right. That's right. That's true. We don't become a father until we actually see it.
Exactly.
That's why it's important for us to be so into her when she's pregnant and spend time with her and the baby while she's in the womb, so we can make some type of connection.
But not many men does that.
Nah, but not every man is meant to be, like, not every man is suitable for marriage. This is why I always say the chances of a woman meeting her husband when they go out on a date are slim and none. And the only way you're going to be able to identify the one that is your husband, you got to first know who you are. You got to remove all trauma, previous trauma, and you've got to be an open blank sheet for this man. Act natural. Don't put on any airs or anything. Just be who you are and let it roll in and be natural. It'll just fall into place. And look, but
that's today's society.
Say what?
I said that's today's society. In my days, that was not the case, and things did not roll in that direction. And this is why I had to raise my kids the way I did. And my kids, 3 out of 4, grew up in the direction I actually wanted them to grow, where they're independent and they're sufficient. And you know what? I cannot say 3 out of 4. I can now say 4 out of 4 because the fourth person is not dependent on me anymore, because everybody is now self-reliant and everybody is doing what they have to do, and everybody does not own what I want them to own and be where I want them to be, but they're not dependent on anybody else. And this was my goal from the beginning, because like I said, I've seen my mother grew up in abusive situation where my father was abusive and he's cheating and all of that, to the point where he pushed her outdoors to the person he was cheating with, and that person poured acid on her. Okay, and she has scars to this day. And I thought myself, this is not what I'm going to be, and this is not what I'm going to be subjected to. And I got married in my younger years, and When I got married, which was way older than when my parents got married. And I've grown to a point where I'm like, I'm not going to allow my children to do this. I'm not going to subject my daughter to do this. I'm not going to subject myself to do this. So I'm going to teach my daughter and my sons what they should be and what they shouldn't be, where women are concerned and where men are concerned. And they're adults now. I know they're allowed to make their own choices. But my thing is, when they were under my care, they were not subject to that. And unfortunately, I subjected myself to some mental issues. And I cannot blame anybody for that because I subjected myself to that. We cannot blame other people for what we put ourselves into. We just have to learn from it. And I've learned from it and I've grown from it. And every relationship I've developed after that fact, I did not subject myself to anything that I've taught my kids to not tolerate in their future lives. And whether or not they learn from what I have subjected myself to, that's on them because they're now adults. But I'm not going to allow anybody to mistreat me because, I've worked very hard to get to the point where I am. I'm not making 3 and 4 and 5 figures, but I'm making enough to sustain myself, and I'm not going to let anybody abuse me because they think I want what they have. Whatever it is I need, I can afford. And if I cannot afford it, I'm going to wait until I can. But I'm not going to bring anybody into my life that's going to think I want enough where I'm going to allow them to disrespect me and abuse me and do all this. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm sorry if I agree with you guys, but I'm sorry.
Chris, you wanted to say something?
No, it's okay.
Come on, Chris.
I had some more questions for Tumandre.
Go ahead.
I'm listening.
Okay. So my first question is, do you want your daughter to be married one day? Like, would you?
I would. Okay, finish. I'm sorry.
Would you like to see her married someday in your lifetime?
I would like to, but I would not. I would not portray that on her where she feel like she have to please me. I want her to be married if she feel that she meet the right person, and this is something that she's happy with.
Yeah. So, if she does choose to get married, do you think that she has? Do you think that she has the tools to? How can I say this?
Help
do you
her
think that
success
you're
in marriage?
To stay
married? Yeah, or do you think that she?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
So if she does choose to be married, do you think that she knows what the other person, the other potential spouse, will want from her in that marriage? I'll leave it at that. Do you think she'll know what the other spouse would want from her in that marriage to make it successful?
Well, I try to talk to her in that aspect, and I hope she know what to do and where compromise is. And every person in a relationship must compromise. We don't have all the answers, not to us, not to the other person, but we must compromise when it comes to a relationship. And if she chooses to marry someone, I hope she knows to compromise to that person where it creates a happiness in their relationship. And I hope he realized what she's given up. to be in that relationship. But I don't want her to release everything that she is to have a man in her life.
So, can I ask her a question?
Go ahead.
So, to Madre, I understand. I truly understand from what your standpoint is. I just got a question. What is the role of a man in the life if she doesn't necessarily need a man in her life?
Oh, I didn't say she doesn't need a man in her life. I said she needs to be independent in case today or tomorrow that man decided that he does not want to be a part of her life. She still has to pay her bills, and she still has to take care of her children, and she has to still meet her needs, and whatever the case is. We all, as women, need a man, and I'm quite sure men appreciate or need women in their lives. But I don't want her to feel that she has to depend on a man for her survival.
But you didn't answer the question. What is, I guess, the necessary role of a man for her other than financial?
No, the man is not a financial need. The man is for loving and to be there and to be, the role model for the children and the protector and all of that. And if he cannot do that, then she needs to be strong enough to do it herself.
Okay. I'm gonna let y'all chop it. CK.
No, you're laughing, but listen, let me tell you.
John,
you're laughing now.
No,
but when you have daughters, let me see you laughing later.
No, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing about what you're saying. I'm laughing about because I know there's certain things that, in these spaces we talk about. We talk about the role of the man, and we talk about why men are important. Men are important more than I think a lot of times women think. We're not just bus rides and financial outputs. We are leaders of this country. We develop. We do the things that are not like right now. Ukraine is going through a war, and the men can't lead.
Yeah, and women are fighting too. So what's your point?
My whole point is the role of a man is very much important. The role of a man in a woman's life is very much important, and it's not just about.
Hold on, wait. Let him finish. You gotta let him finish.
The role of a man is definitely greater than his wallet. I've always preached that. It's almost the role of a man sometimes is even greater than his role, his wallet, because what we provide is greater. It's handed down through God, and from what I understand what you're saying. You want a person to be self-sufficient, not independent, self-sufficient, but we also want to be able to put our women under the care of a man. That's the ultimate goal. Because if a woman is not if it's all about self-sufficiency, everybody's self-sufficient. Everybody can get a job, but it's about the fact that a man is willing to give and protect. I'm not sure. Are you from the States?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, I'll give you an example. When Houston or when Texas, we had an ice storm, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many women do you think were actually out there because they wanted to be out there?
What year was this?
This was like a year ago, 2 years ago. We had an ice storm and men had to, you seen the difference.
Of course. I also saw Hurricane Katrina and storms after that. But here's the case. When all those storms hit, guess who bunkled down with their kids and with their daughters and whoever. I did. So what's the point?
The point is that the role of, I'm not being argumentative. I'm really just kind of highlighting the point that yes, you want somebody to be self-sufficient, but ultimately the goal is for her to be handed off to a man, and for that man to take care of all of the aspects of life. That's the ultimate goal. Now, he may not be able to. That's fine. 80% is fine. 60% is fine. 70% is fine. But ultimately, we don't want women to feel the grunt of the society. We don't want them to work. No. Let us go. Let us go. That's my goal. Like a man wants to do that. If you run into some of these cats, they want that 50-50. That's cool. But like when you messing with some
women, if we leave it up to a woman though, and most women don't want to do the 50-50. They probably want a 70-30.
Yeah. No, I don't even want a 70-30.
Preferably 100%. Yeah.
No, what I want if I'm in a relationship with a man, I want 100% me, 100% you. Because in order for us to be happy, I have to give 100% of me. And you have to give 100% of yourself. So it's not a 50, you're my better half. There's no better half where I'm concerned. You're 100% and I'm 100%. Okay? I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm older and I'm from whatever generation, and I'm not measuring up to, you guys. I'm sorry, I do apologize, but
I'm old too.
I'm
old.
CK right behind us.
I come from a baby boomer.
I'm working hard on that.
And the baby boomers,
but
all of us to go to school. Because
they told I'm in my 50s, but that's my 60s, okay? How many are you?
Wait, Tomato, you gotta stop.
I'm sorry.
They told baby boomers, and they showed them at that time it was true that if you get more education, you will make more money and you'll be able to take care of your household. As time went on, it's not as true. Because they sent all of us, which is my generation X, they sent us to school and we came out and didn't have no jobs. So a lot of times, I think what I don't know, I'm not trying to say your words. What he's trying to say is that, yes, you want to raise a woman to make sure they can take care of everything if a man isn't there. But if you raise them to be independent, then they don't need a man. And they're going to always act like they don't need a man. Even when they meet somebody who presents themselves to be a man. Or if they meet somebody that doesn't present themselves. They are always going to behave in a way that they do not need the man. No matter what. Because they come from trauma. The person who raised them come from trauma, which is like my mother was raised from trauma. She's seen it. She taught me to be independent. Now I meet somebody like, beat that, I'm doing 50-50. I'm going to be there for you. So I end up being with somebody who was looking for somebody like me to take the load off. That's what.
Okay, let me know when I can speak.
My husband is a great person, but I ended up with somebody because she taught me to be independent, who was okay with me taking the load off of them instead of them being the load, like them being the table. You know what I'm saying? The man is the table. He gonna be a table whether the woman is there or not. You know, so that's what I think he's trying to say, is that once you raise a woman to be independent, they don't know how to act any other way.
Who are you and where did your knee go? You look like her. You don't sound like her. Body snatchers.
But But the thing, even though I know this, I'm not in that
Dependency.
relationship of what I'm talking about. I'm in a relationship where it's 50-50. I'm in a relationship where that person is dependent on me just as much as I'm dependent on them, in the sense that he's not a bad person, but he was just raised the same way, in the sense that somebody should be helping you, and you don't have to be the leader. You could be the second one. It's okay to be second. That's who I married. He was like, I don't want to be in charge. I don't want to be the leader. And I was raised to be the leader. I was raised to be the leader. So that's why we fit. Because I was raised to be the leader. And he was raised to be like, I'll be the leader.
Is that what you truly wanted? Unique? Is that what you if you're being honest with yourself, is that what you truly wanted?
I could say that if I'm thinking about when I was young, before I was damaged. But when I was young, before I was damaged, no. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to get married, and I wanted to take care of my children. I wanted to marry somebody. I wanted to find somebody to get married and all that other stuff. But as I grew older, my mother drilled in me that education is the key, and that's what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Forget a man. Mm-hmm. So eventually that became my personality, and that's who I got. And, I had some bumps in the road of some crazy people, but eventually I ended up with somebody who is a nice person, but who fits what I attracted. Because I want to be in control. I married somebody who's okay with not being in control. That's what I mean. And I have little children with him, so it's kind of like, you want your children to be around your husband and be around the person that's their true father. And it's not that I don't love him. Of course I love him, else I wouldn't be here either. But it's just that in the last 3 years, I have come to see why my life the way it is. Like, I was depressed all the time, thinking he was the problem. No. My choices is what the problem was. Mm-hmm. The choices that I made that ended me up right here is what the problem was. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well said, Unique. So basically what's going on is, when a woman has to work, when she feels like she has to work and cannot depend on somebody else, she's boosting testosterone, and it's just not a happy hormone in women. It makes them depressed, and it in that moment, in the short term, you think that you're fine, but over the years, you're going to realize that you've been overwhelmed, that you're getting depressed. Like Unique just said, it isn't just her. And that's the issue, is that we think that everyone's so afraid of generalizations. They're so afraid of statistics, but this is women. Women need to produce 17 times more estrogen than testosterone, but they act like this isn't the case. When you raise your daughter to be independent, you're raising her to be a man, and then she's going to grow up wondering why she can't get one. And she's going to end up with a man that she's not really truly going to respect and want to be with, because she's going to feel like, well, he's indecisive, he's passive, and he doesn't want to step up. Well, it's because she already did all of that. So he just walked into his place, which was to be the feminine in that relationship, because she was so good for so long at being so masculine. Mm-hmm. And, it's sad because it's avoidable. It's avoidable. When you make decisions in fear, you don't gain any power. You don't. There's no safety in fear. None at all. Like, you're just gonna feel like it's a false sense of control, right? It's like you're not even making the decisions for yourself, because you're so busy avoiding the bad things that you're forgetting that you have full power to pick the good things if you had the right tools and the right resources, right? It's a sad situation. So many women, I talk to so many women, and they're all in the same boat. They're either getting to the point where they're becoming depressed, they're 40, they wish that they had done things differently, or they're in their 60s and they wish that they had been there for their daughters in a different way, because their daughters are now with men that don't do anything, and their daughters are sick like getting like tumors, but still have to work, going to work with cancer because they were raised that they cannot depend on the man to do anything. And it's sad.
Let me know when I can speak.
Speak now. Just, you know.
Hmm?
Go ahead.
It's my turn?
Go ahead.
It's
Talk.
not that we raise our daughters to be men. It's that we raise our daughters to not depend on men. Because I've grown up seeing my mother being abused by men, being beaten and acid thrown on and all this other stuff by men. And I've taught my daughter to be independent, where she can do for herself and not depend on a man. You know why? Because my father pushed my mother out there to fight with women that he was having relationships with. Bottom line, when I got into my marriage and had kids, and I was in a situation where, you know, I had children and I had to teach them, I taught my daughter that you have to be proficient. Not that you don't need a man, but you need to be able to provide for yourself. So if today or tomorrow that man leave, you can still provide for yourself.
Is that under
When
self-sufficiency?
That's exactly what my mother said to me.
Is that under self-sufficiency?
Hold up, let her finish. Let her finish.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I apologize. When I got out of a relationship, I decided to leave with nothing and start from the bottom. And I try to teach not only my daughter to be proficient and to be independent and to provide for herself. I did not tell her she didn't need a man. I just told her, if you can provide for yourself, the man is not going to treat you like shit because you need him to provide for you. And I taught my sons, learn to cook. Well, I taught most of them, learn to cook, learn to clean, learn to do your laundry, learn to do everything, because if you cannot do for yourself, women is gonna feed you shit because you don't know the difference. So you need to know how to take care of yourself. And even my son that was in the military, you know, he called me, he's like, Mom, what are these people teaching their children, because they don't know a damn thing, you know? So it's not that I'm trying to prevent them from life. I felt I was trying to prevent them from the hurt that I've been through in life. Maybe I did right, maybe I did wrong, but I am in a peaceful place knowing that my daughter is not being abused by men, and my sons, for the most part, is not being taken advantage of by women. I might be wrong, like I said, I might be wrong, but I'm still single because I cannot meet a person that is going to give me that respect. I mean, in my years, whenever I'm in a relationship with a person, I do everything I can in my power to make sure that person is happy. If you want need a back rub before you go to sleep, you get that back rub. You get your mani-pedi twice a week. And I did not take you to a store or whatever. I did that myself. You, in my house, you get 3 square meals a day. I wake up in the morning and I cook breakfast and lunch. So you can eat or take your breakfast to work and you have your lunch because it was cooked. Because I woke up and I did that for you. And if when I'm doing that, you choose to disrespect me, you have no place in my space. I don't know if you guys might not agree with me in that, but if you call me out of my name and you do not give me the same respect I give you, and I don't ask people to pay my bills because I know today or tomorrow, if you leave, I still have to pay my bills. So if you do anything for me, You did it because you choose to do it, not because I asked you to do it. So,
John, you
if
want to say something?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Okay. I want to get to John after you finish what you're saying.
Yeah. So if you think that because you're in my space and I accept you, you can, be disorderly and disrespectful and all that, make sure when you leave, the only thing I'm missing is not you. Because when somebody walk out of my life, that's all that's gone. Because I do everything else. I appreciate everything everybody do for me, but I'm not dependent on anybody to do anything for me. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
All right, so I'm listening real carefully, and I understand where everything come from. I'm leaning more on the side of what Chris was saying because I've been on the receiving end of that. When there's a difference between a woman that's self-sufficient and then a woman who's completely independent.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we say independent, it by nature, by the pure definition of the word, it means that they don't need anybody. Mm-hmm. And that can't work with a man. Like, it just can't. Not with a real man. It can't. Now, a person who needs you, an independent person attracts a dependent, typically. Two independent people, they repel each other, because if you're independent, we're not going to agree on finances. We're not going to agree on children. We're not going to agree on nothing because you're independent, and I have no say, and I'm going to have say. It's just the way it works. It's going to work that way with me. You know what I mean? It's got to, because the chances of a woman getting into an abusive relationship are slim and none. That's just the fact. That's just what the numbers are. No, that's what the numbers are. That's what the numbers are. That's what the numbers are. You're on the ends of the it's not in the middle. It's not the average woman will get in a relationship and get beat. The average woman will not happen. On average. It's slim and none. Now, in your country where you come from, it may not be like that. But over here, it's slim and none. Slim and none. And the fact that a woman is independent does not protect her from abuse at all. Like, at all. Because you can get that guy who's dependent. Well, think about it. If a man is dependent and it's a man, he's got some stuff going on in his mind already. He's got some insecurities. And the minute you threaten of taking away any of my livelihood, I'll give you a perfect example. A CEO of a company who she makes $300,000 or $400,000 a year, raised independent, don't need a man, She's 40-some years old, wants to be married, finally dating. She dates. The men that are dating and coming after her are younger men, still dependent, and she's flattered. It's not because she looks good. It's because she is like their mama. They remember them days of living at home with mom. They can get them back.
Hey,
not a real man. You're not there yet. And then men who look the look, but deep down inside, they don't have anything going on for themselves. But she don't quite know that, and she don't even care at this point. Well, if she's dating this guy and they get together and she is making him feel better about himself, do you know how reactive he's going to be if he sees her talking to another man? Just talking to another man. You're threatening his livelihood because he has no livelihood. He's not the independent person in the relationship. She is. So if you're going to take that away, I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to come unglued because I already feel insecure. That's what breeds insecurity, breeds these over hyperactive men that want to put their hands on. They have an insecurity. They have something that they just can't shake. Either they too short and they don't like it, or something that there's an insecurity somewhere. Maybe it's sexual performance, something that makes them react the way they do, whatever that is. And an independent woman can find that man, just like a woman who is willing to come in and fall under the leadership of a man. It's a risk, but the numbers are with that woman who's willing to fall under the leadership. The chances of her finding a man who's going to put hands on her like that are just not that great. They out there, but they just not that high.
Yeah, and John, I agree. You know, trying to find this unicorn of a man that is sensitive, sweet, allowing you to be in your independence and pay the bills is very hard to find. Not only that, I would like to also add that you probably don't want that guy
at all. You definitely gonna cheat on him first chance.
You know, because you gotta understand that type of guy is not one. Also, he's a very sought after individual who is weak to his emotions. Two, he's also going to be able to, or I shouldn't say going to be able to, but he probably has a, like I think Bloomin' Ebony said, has a high estrogen level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that he's resting in his feminine nature, single mothers, and being raised in his feminine things to where he doesn't recognize the role of a man. See, this manhood thing, it took a while to get to understand, because in society we all are about using and abusing, but as a man we understand it's about cultivating, creating, and the men that you want are cultivators. The things that we want from the woman are different from what you're expecting. We don't want independent women. I told my wife a ton of times, I don't care about your money. I care more or less about how I come home than I do about the bills. We gonna make it. Trust me. But I don't need you to worry about that because I see the effects of it. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, my wife works, but that's because she wants to work.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. She can quit her job now. A lot of people in America and across the world do not have the ability to work. Not work, I'm sorry. And that's the difference between being covered under a man than being independent. Like, I get it. Men are dangerous. I get it. And I mean that sarcastically, because most people are dangerous. Women are dangerous. You know, people are dangerous. And we all have to vet these people. But when you vet through the lens of social responsibility and training, you're able to filter out a lot more people. Am I wrong, Miss Tumadre? If you're raising your daughters to vet for a man who's attributing certain factors of life, like taking care of the bills and taking care of the household and taking care of the children and showing masculine energy, then she's in a better situation than a man who's necessarily just about money. Just money.
I agree with you, and you're not wrong, and I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, if two people are going to be in a relationship, then both of them have to be in a position where if today or tomorrow one of us gets sick or one of us is disabled or whatever the case is, the other person is going to be capable of pulling the weight until the other person get back on their feet. And not only that, it's like we need to see each other as equal.
Yes, but you got to understand, or when you say capable of
hold on,
keeping,
Black.
I just want to get this point off. When you say capable, that means that your lifestyle is changing, right? Let's be honest. Your lifestyle is changing. If I get sick tomorrow, that means we can't afford a 3-bedroom house. That means we have to deal with a 1-bedroom house, right?
No. It means if we cannot afford, if you get sick, then I can pay the bill until you become well enough to get into the position where we can work together to pay the bill. It's not that you have to do it yourself or I have to do it myself, but if either one of us become incapable of doing it, then the other person should be able to do it until the other person get to the point where we can work together.
And that's where we probably split, because I think foresight and what men think of, like, for instance, if you were to get sick and I can't afford a 3-bedroom house, yeah, we're going to have to deal with this 1-bedroom house, because as a man, I have the foresight of what we need to do. You're saying you're going to take care of the household for the 3-bedroom, and that's not foresight, because it's not necessary. We can make it. And that's the point, that men and differences between men and women is that you want to maintain the lifestyle and the luxury or the household that the man has provided or has foresought and built. And that's not necessarily what society or what I just want to make sure we're clear on this point, because I agree. I understand your point. I don't think I'm disagreeing with you. I understand. I just don't think that you're going to lead down the same road that I'm leading now.
All right, hold on real quick. I just want to kind of tackle this question. John, you want to re-elaborate on your concept again about dependent and independent energy?
It was the same thing that I had said earlier.
Yeah, it was the same thing basically Unique was saying. There's a difference between being independent and there's a difference between being self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient versus
so like when you completely independent, you throwing off that energy that you don't need anyone.
True.
And independent attracts dependent. Period.
Right. So real quick, I just wanted to thanks for the explanation. For conversations with King, my view on this is that a lot of the times the teaching your daughter to be independent is very, very bad. I think you should teach her to be interdependent. She needs to be able to sustain her life, but she also needs to understand her role within a marriage if that's the goal. But most, like, we're all biologically wired to do our roles. It's only now in time that we're kind of like trying to say it's okay to not do your role. Women want to have women want to have kids. Women want to nest. Men want to be providers and protectors. But for some reason, once you start training them the opposite way, you start giving them the mismatched information, that's when you'll find a lot of headache and a lot of trauma starts to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like a woman being independent is good for, monetary reasons. It's good for the government, but internally it's definitely not going to be good for her because she's going against all of her biological wiring.
Mm-hmm.
She's providing and protecting for herself. Yeah, she can pay for her house, she can pay for her car, she can pay for everything. She could do this and that, but she doesn't want to do that. Women don't want to have to, drive, their tire goes flat, they have to get out and change it. They don't want to do that. They prefer for a man to.
They just not wired. They're not wired like that. But to E Black's point, right?
CKQ, I'm putting you up for adoption.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, like to E Black's point, right? With the house, I love that analogy that he gave, right? So if I got sick, we go into a smaller house if we can't afford that lifestyle. Because because a woman is not built for certain things. Can she do it? Yes. Will she do it with a smile? No.
Yes.
Will she? No, she won't. She will do it.
She will.
She will have animosity towards you later on.
Ooh.
Even with these women.
You know what? Like I said, I'm older than you guys.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, you are older than us, but I'm right there with you. So these concepts I'm coming from are like what I've noticed over the years, and not just stuff I read in a book. Women do not, they will have animosity towards you when they have to do your role, period. They will. They're gonna do it because they're not built like that. I don't see any women volunteering to go, men marry women that don't have a job every day. I've yet to see a woman who will go out and just marry a man and he don't have a job. Matter of fact, that's the first question they ask you when you're dating. See, none of y'all women dated men, dated women. And so y'all don't get these questions asked. Well, I happen to only date women. So I've been around, I kind of know. Yeah, I get that question. It's one of the first questions they ask. So what do you do? Where do you work? Blah, blah, blah. That's going to come out. And that will determine whether or not you're getting a second date. Because if you say nowhere, you're not getting a second date. Oh, I'm in between jobs, you're not getting a second date. Because automatically, the first thing pop in her mind is, I'm going to have to take care of you. And that lets me know that women do not want to take care of a man. A man is hardwired to take care of a woman. You can see it in kids. You can see it in babies. If you let boy babies and girl babies come in, when them girl babies start crying, 2 or 3 boy babies will come see about her and give her whatever it is she's pointing at. They will do it. And they are not kin. They weren't raised in the same house. So that lets me know that that's just the way we are hardwired. We are hardwired to do that. You'll see little brothers not want to see sister get in trouble, or you yell at sister or anything like that. That's that protective side. They will give them their last. That's that providing side. So we're hardwired like that from the beginning. Women are hardwired to receive. Y'all are hardwired to receive. That's why if you get a man who makes good money and he's cool with you nesting and saving money, you're not fixing to, only a few women will just volunteer to pay for stuff. She will be cool with just saving up her money and shopping however she wants to with her money, as long as she and she will excuse that behavior by saying, well, I'm not spending your money. And to me, that whole dynamic, if you're married, is just so screwed up. Because first of all, it's not your money and it's all of our money. Like, your money is my money. What you mean? If I want to go to your checking account and pull out $1,000, as long as I told you, I can do it. And here in this state over here, I don't even have to tell you. I can just go get your bank card and go get it because we're married. This is the way that works. And it shouldn't be nothing said about it, as long as I told you. But that would be a whole problem. But women would do it all the time to men, smile, bat their eyes 2 times, and it would be okay. I just wanted that Dooney and Burke, and it was on sale. I'll make it up. Okay, no problem. You gonna wear the little red piece tonight? You like the black one better. All right, and that's the end of it. You won't hear shit else from us again. We ain't got nothing to say. We just go work a couple overtime, trade an extra stock or some shit, and we all good again. But y'all will sit on that. So yeah, we need to sell this house into a smaller house. But if I was handling my business, I'll just tell you what fund we gonna dip into the white envelope and pay this bad boy up for 6 months, because my recovery is gonna take about 3. But we good.
But we good. Yeah,
we good. You get to maintain. I done took care of federal and state. I'll let you handle local taxes though.
What up, Tank? What up,
Can
Tank?
somebody let me know when I can speak?
I love it when she do this. Somebody let me know.
No, I'm gonna punch you in your eye. You know, I'm not violent, but you're about to get punched. Wait, is it my
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Hey, am I causing the echo? Because I don't have my regular mic equipment with me.
No, there's no echo.
Okay. Yeah, I was listening, and I'm gonna tell you something. The youngin brought the heat with the truth. You know what I mean? And I ain't talking about TKQ. I'm talking about Chris the Blooming Ebony, which is still difficult for me to say. So can I just call you Chris? Because that whole Blooming Ebony, it's like I'm learning a foreign language every time.
Yeah, that's just my channel's name. You can call me Chris.
Okay. So yeah. So Chris, I had to agree with you. Check this out. I got examples. Or what they say now. I got receipts. You feel me? So I was in a relationship with a woman, and we're just friends now. And I'm telling you, she makes about $150 a year. She has a second home, She's 43, maybe. Fine as hell by the normal standard of men. By the normal standard of men, she fine. If I don't tell men who she is and she show up, she getting that look. That's the bottom line. And I always tease her when we talk, when we hang out. Because when I go over her house, she putting together the newest computer table or the cabinet or whatever coming in the mail not put together, she putting it together. She's out there trying to put tape around the thing that the water pump outside, something I don't even know how to describe it because I pay somebody to do it. And I always tease her, what's going to be left for him? What you mean? I mean, what is he going to do? Are you just going to sit around and have babies? Because you're leaving nothing, absolutely nothing. This is your second home, okay? You have one child. This is your second home. Obviously, you done made up in your mind, you're not even going to let no man get exposure to her, good, bad, or ugly, until she 18 and probably gone off to college. So you ain't going to get that. You then took every class there is to do whatever it is to do to your house. You got your career going on, all that going on, and you say you're looking for a husband, you ain't going to never find a husband because your game is so airtight. I can't imagine, and I ain't going to mention the toys, you know what I'm saying? She got toys, you feel me? And I just can't imagine what he's going to be around here for. I can't imagine. And I've been joking with her like that for like 3 years. I got this other female friend that I see now. I see her now. She's self-sufficient. Like y'all were saying, there's a difference between independence and self-sufficient, right? Independence, you hold it down. I got my car, you know the record. I got my crib. I got a job. My hair, whatever it is. I got the receipt for my own hair, even though it's off the Chinese people and whatever. Self-sufficient, you grow your own vegetables. All you need is the sun. You don't even need the grocery store. She like that. Our space cover, like we overlap in a certain area because I don't want her like that. So that part that we overlap, we just share that. But she's totally like that. Now, to me, these are women by, like I say, normal standards. They're going to get the look. They're going to get the talk. They probably done looked over their husband 20 times saying that they want one because they done put themselves in a position that I cannot normally see what a guy can come by and do other than, I mean, sex is overrated for the most part, right? So other than that, I don't know what the guy's going to come by and do. At 40-some years old, it's not like you're looking for somebody to have kids. So it's got to be something else. And some of these women I know, professional, cute, all that, they make it airtight. So it's just different. You know, it's just different. I experience it. Not only do I see it, I experience it.
I want to throw this question to the panel, everyone on the panel. Are modern day women in competition with men within marriages? Are modern day women in competition with men within marriages? Also, shout out to everyone in the chat. Mr. Real Estate Conversations with King. E Black, I see you too. Red Lipstick Vibes. All of you guys in there. Unique, you were there too. Thank you guys for being in the chat. I appreciate everything. Osmosis Reacts. You know, love all of you guys being here. Hit the like button if you can. If you have time, hop in on the chat. The link is up at the top of the chat. So, yeah. Are modern day women in competition with men within marriages? Let's tackle that real quick. Unique, what do you think? Yeah, I was going to show you.
Why you gotta ask me first? Because I'm married. Oh, E-Black, you're married too, right?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. So only two of us is married on this panel, ain't it?
Let's school him on some stuff.
So, are we in competition?
Yeah, with the men with
modern day women, because I don't consider myself modern day, I guess I am, I don't know. But I can only speak personally. Do you want me to speak generally of what I see, or you want me to speak personally?
Speak generally.
Okay.
We
generally of what I see, then yes. Yes, they are. If I'm speaking in general of what I see, yes, they are. But I don't think they're there because they want to be there. They're there because of being raised like I was being raised. Being independent. That's why they're there. They're in that state of competition because of that, when they should be in a state of cohesiveness and how can we do this together instead of competition.
I'm convinced.
I have never been in competition with my husband. I've always wanted us to be 50-50. And a lot of people don't agree with 50-50, but my personality, the way my personality is, I can't have people tell me what to do because of my trauma. I can't have people tell me what to do. So that's why me and my husband fit, and I know I could never be with somebody else that's not, like him, because I can't have people tell me what to do. That's just me. I'm sorry.
You were doing so good.
I know that about myself.
She was doing so good.
You were doing
I know
so
that
good.
about myself.
But at least she knows that.
I know that it's wrong, but in a sense, like, this is just, it's okay. I don't need a man to tell me what to do, and the person that I'm with doesn't do that. You know what I'm saying? He tells me things, he suggests things, he supports me. So it's okay in my marriage. It may not be good for yours, may not good be for yours. But in my marriage, it's okay in that sense because of me being and I know where it's coming from. It's being traumatized. I know that. But if I'm with somebody who doesn't care if that's the way I am, they just like that's the way I am, then then we gonna be good. Me and him is gonna stay together because he's okay with the way I am.
They're able to handle it.
But yes, generally, in a general sense, women are in competition with men in marriages because of being raised through fear, trauma, independent. Yes.
Because they producing testosterone. So they're gonna behave like a man.
Yeah.
And you ain't gonna outdo me. You see what I'm saying?
My mother was fearful. Same thing. My grandmother was fearful. Same thing. My grandmother came home one day and my grandfather put her stuff out on the side and was like, okay, you don't live here no more. You know what I'm saying? And they came from Jamaica here. She don't know nobody here. Where's she going? So my mother seen that trauma, passed it on to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's because of trauma. Once people realize why they meet the people that they meet, it's because they fear that this person is going to do that to them. If you put that fear and energy out there all the time, that's who you're going to meet. You're going to keep meeting somebody that's going to be disrespectful to you because you don't want to be disrespected. You don't want to be disrespected and you fear of being disrespected.
Can I say
you're
something?
going to keep meeting people that are going to disrespect you.
Is she talking with the finger?
Can I say one thing?
I'm sorry.
Let Tumande go. She hasn't spoken in a little bit.
And she about to bust too.
Yeah, I hear it.
I hear it.
Why you did that? You screw me up. Why did you do that? Yeah, but FLG. Because we came from a generation where people got married at 14, 15, 16 years old. And we learned from that generation. And we developed from that generation. And we taught our kids from that generation. And if we're not in the millennial or whatever the fuck came from that, and I apologize for using the F word, but I don't want my kids to be trapped in this bullshit. I don't want my kids to be in this era where my daughter have to be subject to subjected to abuse of men because she have to depend on them. And my sons have to depend on the women because they know how to cook and clean or whatever. And I do apologize to that, but you know what? Whoever don't agree with me, screw you. Because my kids need to learn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But my kids need to learn to be independent.
Damage.
Emotional.
Because like I told my daughter, if he hit you or whatever the fuck, and you don't think you can defend yourself, then fuck him up and then come to me. And then when he comes to my house, then we'll deal with the shit.
Yeah.
We might be in jail, but he is not going to get away with hurting you and hitting you and all this other shit. And I told my sons, learn to cook and clean and do whatever the fuck you need to do for yourself, because if you can't do this, women is going to take advantage of you. So take care of yourselves. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, CKQ. I do apologize for this, but seriously, I apologize. But this is a topic that, kind of like get to my soul.
I see.
And I did not have this. And I'm putting this out there because this is what I try to put for my kids. Whether or not they, work on that and they agree with me on that and they, approve on that. This is what I try to put out there for them. And it's hurtful to me that I had to deal with situations that in my younger years was hurtful, that put me this point. But we're as adults, and like I said, I'm older than most of you, and we need to raise our daughters where they're independent and they don't need to depend on men to bring them to what their dreams are. And men need to learn to respect women. Okay, be there.
Okay. So let me finish. I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish what you're saying, and then I'll talk.
I'm saying be there. Respect the women. If we love you, we love you. So accept us and accept our independence and accept our love towards you and work with us to bring us into a relationship. That's what I am trying to say.
So
I'm done.
I just want to say this real quick. If you're raising your daughters to be independent, and not really need a man, what kind of message does that send to the boys? In your opinion?
I'm not saying she doesn't need a man. I'm saying she needs to be independent, where if she actually gets into a relationship and a man mistreat her, that she's independent enough where she can do for herself, where that man is not paying a point to her survival, that if he's not there, that she cannot survive.
Fair enough, but what I'm asking is, everything that you're teaching your daughter, go to school, get your degree, XYZ, all of that stuff, be independent, good qualities, in some way. How is it being viewed by the boys when you're saying that a man is not going to be this, a man is not going to be that? You don't never want to depend on no man because of this, because men are bad, men bad. That's everything that you're essentially saying every single time you're trying to push your daughter into the direction that you want her to go. So how are the sons receiving that? Because they're going to be men someday. Do you think they're going to want to be any kind of good man at that point? Do you think they're going to be how can I say this? No, not even so much simps, but do you think they're going to have any level of self-value of themselves because all they ever heard was negativity about men? Like, do you see how that could happen?
Yeah, I understand where that can happen, but like I said, where I'm teaching her to be independent and have her own and to develop herself, I also try to teach my sons to be independent and to not depend on women, to do for them, and to I heard the word simp in the background, but that's not what I'm raising. Looking towards for my sons. My sons, like I said, I try to teach them to cook and clean and do everything for themselves because, like I said, if you cannot do and take care of yourself, then women are gonna feed you shit as men. My daughter, I taught her to be independent. It's like, if you cannot do and take care of yourself, then a man is going to take advantage of you because he's going to think that you actually need him for your survival. And, you know, I think I taught her to be too strong because at this point, I think she's a bully. But in my son's case,
no, you can't make this up. You really can't make this up.
I'm sorry, but you know what? On a positive point, I'd rather be a bully than be an abused.
You better be.
Yeah, but in my I'd rather be a bully than be an abused woman. But in my son's case, I try to teach them to be empathetic because Pardon?
We all got questions. We just
everyone wanna.
I mean,
everyone wanna chime in on this.
No. They can ask their questions, but they can ask their questions when I'm finished. Okay, so
this ever come on mute.
This is juicy.
I'm sorry and apologize, but
2 seconds. Like I gotta say something.
Look, I'm not even putting mine on you. I'm ready to go. When she's done, I'm ready to go.
John, I'm gonna beat you and punch you in the eye. You're not gonna see my flowers until your eyes open. But it's like I said, I've grown up in seeing abuse in women, and I've grown up seeing my mother. I'm sorry, my phone fell. I've grown up seeing my mother being abused years and years and years. And when she came to get us, people will tell my father she's there and he will come after her and she would have to run. And we lived with various people over the years. And we've actually after I'm actually surprised I'm actually saying with the physical and mental and sexual abuse that we've developed over the years before we came to this country. And I came to this country at 15 years old. And prior to that, I have endured many. I could not tell anybody that I was being raped by my stepbrother and all of this because they're adults and no adults don't lie. So I had to endure this. And I had to go through everything that was going on in my life because I could not trust adults. And this is why I developed that relationship with my children where I have to be able to trust you. So you have to always be honest with me. Because if I cannot trust you, I cannot defend you. I've always been there for my children, and I've always defended my children, and I'm sorry, I've never take anybody's words over my children. So when I talk to you guys, and when I speak to you guys, and when I say things, I'm sorry if you guys don't believe me, but I develop that trust with my children. And I'm sorry, that you guys don't have that, but I don't have any other way to explain this to you. But I had to teach my kids that what I had to endure as a parent does not have to transfer to you. What I had to but my sexual abuse, my harassment, my physical abuse, my rape, and whatever the case is, I don't have to transfer that to you as my children. This is the first damn country I came to where they make excuses for people that do shit like this. It's like, I don't want my kids to endure this. And this is why I try to teach them to be strong. And I'm hoping that in their future that they can teach their children to be strong and not to endure, abuse on that level. And it's not that I don't feel anywhere from my past, because my past actually it's kind of like triggered what my future is going to be like. And if my future if my future depends on what my past was, then I failed as a parent. I want my children to know and to learn that my past is not going to be their future. So I try to teach them that this is not what you are, and this is not who you are, because the people that hurt me in my past, and the people that did things to me, and the stuff I've experienced, you don't have to do this. So my daughter, I want her to be strong. I want her to be independent. I want her to say, you know what? You're not going to do this to me. And my sons, I want them to know you're a lady and you should be treated like a lady. And today or tomorrow, I'm going to have a daughter. And this is what she should expect from a man. As a lady. I'm not saying as a woman, I'm saying as a lady. And I don't know how else to explain this. I don't know how else to explain this. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to explain this. But my past.
I want to let John chime in.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
Okay, so I got a question for you. Let's say your daughter met this very nice man who is settled in, well-traveled, well-versed, educated, great job, treats her like a queen, right? And he is giving her the dynamics of the relationship, because if he's a man, he's going to give her that. And he tells her how great it is that she has her nursing license. However, when we have children, I just want you to keep it active, because I understand that's your security in case something happens to me, because a man is not going to come in on a negative, with the negative ideal that his marriage is going to fail. A real man is going to come in like it's going to succeed, and that he's not stupid, that something could happen to him. So I want you to keep your nursing license active enough but I don't want you working the first 4 years of our children. And she comes to you and asks you for advice. What would you say to her?
I will tell her to, whatever she decides, I will support her. But for the fact that, she's worked this hard, do you really think my daughter is going to agree to not work for 4 years? She's not.
And that's why you don't raise daughters to be independent, because the first 4 years of a child's life is called a critical period. And they don't need to be around their man, they need to be around the mother. It's 24/7.
No, it's the first 5 years, John. It's the first 5 years.
5 years. You know what I'm talking about. And she needs to stop working because it's not her place. Her role is to take care of them kids once they are here. That's her role. And she needs to do that.
John?
I'm hearing you. But I'm making a point. And you just agreed with what I said.
Yeah, I almost agree with what you
said. The world, how we think and feel go out the window, right? That changes. That changes everything.
No, I said 5 years, not 4 years. And the reason I said that is because I had 4 children. Okay. And in the years that I had those 4 children, my job allowed me, first of all, okay, so you have 3 months for maternity leave, not even 3 months, 6 weeks for maternity leave. And if you take another 6 weeks, it's taken out from your retirement.
But in this scenario, that was not the case. In this scenario, she gets 4 years that he is going to be taking care of her. How would you advise her to move forward with that?
Well, if in this scenario he had 4 years, then I would advise her to be with her child and work with her child, because that is critical, because the first 5 years of a child's life is when they learn. That's when they actually learn.
So you're telling her that step away from her. You're telling her that step away from her nursing degree, focus more of your energy in the house and let the man take care of everything.
No, what I'm telling her is to
That's
focus on our child.
No,
No, what I'm telling her.
Up for 3 months. That's what she said.
John, can I speak?
Let her explain her point.
Okay, because she worked to this point to get to where she is. She bought a house and she have all of this, and now she have a child, and she have a husband, and she had a house before she had a husband.
So,
and what I will tell her is that, well, if everything is going to be okay while she stay home and nurture that child for the whatever years that or months that he wants to be the provider, I will agree with her. I'm not going to not support my daughter in whatever it is she decides. But like I said, if she have this kid, and like I said, I had 4 children, and I've been forced to go back to work before I even wanted to go back to work.
So what would you advise her to go with? What direction would you advise her to go with? Let the husband take care of everything and you take off those 4 years, he becomes the provider of your entire lifestyle? Would you advise her in that direction?
What I would say, if he is going to take care of everything and is not going to take away our independence, then okay. But if he's going to do that, and then after that 4 years, she has to depend on him, then no.
No, he has to. If she's going to quit her job, which is the source of her independence, to depend on him to cover everything while she takes care of her child, she would have to give up her independence temporarily to take care of the child.
Exactly.
Is that okay? Is it okay for her to give up her independence temporarily?
She now becomes dependent on him. She is dependent on him to be the provider.
If she's dependent on him to be the provider while she take care of their children or their child, then it's okay. But if she has to give up her independence in the, altogether, then I have a problem with that.
How do you define independence?
Because she should not have to give up her independence altogether. Because I have a child and he's doing this and whatever the case is, because while I didn't have a child, I was able to do on my own. And together, as a couple, as a parent, as a husband and wife. But why should I have to give up everything because I have a child? It's for me, it feels like I'm being penalized for having a child. Which actually is where it comes in with my company. This is why I'm still working, because after I have kids, I had 4 children, and each time I had a child, it pushed back my retirement age. So now I have to work towards the point where I can retire and not have to be penalized for the fact that I had a child. So what are we trying to say right now? Are we supposed to, as women, be penalized for having children?
No, women should be married.
We should be married, and so we can.
I was married.
No, I'm talking about
we should
married.
be staying married to respectable men, because we've had guidance from our mother and our father on how to choose respectable men, and we should stay married. And so when we're in that situation and we have to stop working, we will be okay. And we will be secure. That's the point. That's the point of having that balance, because the minute that you have a child, you're immediately vulnerable. Immediately. When you
let me know why I can speak.
The child, you're getting ready to be vulnerable, because even with the last 4 months of the pregnancy alone, there are things that you will not be able to do. You are vulnerable, and that's why you need that man. Okay. Can I answer the question that?
Go ahead.
So this is what's going on, in my opinion. Men and women have their roles. When you get married, the man's in the driver's seat, the woman's in the passenger seat. Whether or not she believes that she's driving the car, she's not, because you can't fight nature. He belongs in the driver's seat. She's in the passenger seat. That's where her role is, and the children are in the back. What's going on with modern women today is that they do not trust their men to drive the car, to move the family in the right direction. And what they're doing is, because of that lack of trust, because of that fear that he's going to drive him off the road, even though she chose to be in the car with this man, they try and grab the wheel and take control to test to see if he's strong enough to keep the wheel from her taking the wheel. He can still manage everything, even while it's complete chaos in the car. And they have 2 options. Either he'll take back control of the wheel, or they'll crash. It's complete competition. You cannot have 2 alphas in a household. If you look at wolf packs, when there are 2 people that are equally qualified to become alpha, they fight to death to see who's actually going to lead the pack. You can't have it. Somebody has to fall back, or you will all die.
Yep.
And this is why we have there's so many broken marriages, or women dying alone. It's so sad.
Exactly why my aunt is gonna be like that. She was. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tamarta.
Bloomberg. I always call you my daughter-in-law, but now I renounce you. You're no longer my daughter-in-law. Like I said, I've been married for 20 years. I've been divorced for 10 plus years, and it's nobody knows what. I mean, you guys are young and you don't know what I'm talking about at this point, and you guys are married and getting into marriage and all this other stuff, and I praise you for that, and I pray to God that whatever relationship you're in work out. but I don't want my children to be subjected to my past and my present. I'm actually alone right now because I'm not gonna subject myself to disrespect and all this other stuff. And my kids, I'm not going to encourage them to be in a relationship just to say they are in a relationship. Not to say I have a man or have a woman, but I want them to be happy with whoever they're with, because I know my daughter can provide for herself. I know my sons can provide for themselves. And, whomever come into their lives, I want them to know that that person is there for love and not for money, especially my daughter, because women are so much more vulnerable than men. And, I've been in relationships even after my divorce where I'm like, I cannot do this because, I do everything you want from me. I do everything you want from me, but I do everything I want to do for you. But you do not appreciate me because you think I want your money. And I've been in relationships with men that had money. And my son knows this. I have been in relationship with men that have money, but I'm not after money. I'm after somebody that loves me and somebody can be there for me and somebody that can provide that not monetarily value, but physical relationship. And I just want somebody to love me for who I am and what I bring to the table and what I can do in that relationship, and not because they think I want money. And even if I've been in relationship with people that didn't have money, and I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter if we're in a relationship, then I can work on this. I can be the breadwinner and the bread provider and whatever the case is. But I've been in a relationship with people that think that, so I don't have to do anything. And there are people that think that, because I've dealt with that, and I'm like, I don't think that you have to come to me equal. But what I think is that you also need to participate because you had kids before we got into this relationship. So your child support is not my responsibility. And and I've been
Wait.
Oh.
You're about to jump to a different thing again. Hold on, let Chris go real quick because I think Chris wanted to say something. And you go.
Chris.
And sorry if I lost frame, got a little bit too combative. The Amber Heard trial and Johnny Depp trial is happening right now. So I got a little triggered by the bully. So I'm pulling myself back together.
You sound like you're blowing your top off over there. Calm down. Okay.
Pulling it back together.
I'm finding you right now, girl.
But so my mom, actually, her second marriage is very similar to what you're afraid of happening. So I understand what you're saying. So basically my mom, when she got married, she was marrying a man that was very traditional, right? He was like, I want you to be home with the kids. I'll take care of you. He was a military man, and their housing was paid for. He had to travel a lot, so she was paid for. And she would deal with him like not wanting to share his money with her and just being very nasty towards her. He never physically abused her, but not being kind, right? Not being respectful, not giving her what she needed, right? So she had to get a job because she had to pay for, feminine hygiene things that he wouldn't give her money. So I understand that does happen. But one thing that isolating that situation, my mom never told my sisters and I that until we became adults, because she didn't want us to have that same judgment. She didn't want to pass on her trauma that she never dealt with onto us. She didn't want to copy and paste it because we didn't deserve her experiences, right? So what she did was she taught us red flags, things that we can pick up on just in case we do encounter a man like that. And one thing that she also taught us is how we can kind of earn our income without neglecting our man's needs, without respecting him as a provider, right? She taught us how to basically serve him in a way that wouldn't take away from us necessarily. And I say that to say, one thing that I notice with a lot of mothers is that because they have these fears and they don't know how to deal with it, what they do is they try to block their children from it and pat their children from it, instead of giving the children the tools that they need to kind of attack it head on if they ever encounter that threat, right? You just teach them to never encounter it and just kind of be afraid of everything. So what could happen, I'm not saying this will happen, but based on what you're saying, what could happen is your daughter could end up just avoiding men completely, or completely kind of missing them, because the easiest thing for her to do to avoid men as a threat is to just not deal with them at all, versus having the tools to categorize the good ones from the bad ones. It's not foolproof, right? But it would at least give her a bit more power, knowing that she does have some control over who she lets into her life. And that's one thing that my mom did very well. She had those issues. She went through a lot of stuff, but she didn't tell us. She just taught us how to handle it if it came up, and same with my dad as well.
John, you had something to say?
Well, that was deep right there.
That was some bars.
Yeah, that was
in the chat. Osmosis Reacts. I love everything you're dropping, man. Your experience won't be the kids' experience if you raise them right. But trauma isn't everybody's experience. By introducing trauma as the basis of your lessons, them that trust issues, in my opinion.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Because sorry, give
me one second. Salute to you, Gail at night. Salute to the panel. Salute to the chat, Gail at night.
Gail. When you get, we ain't talking about, I'm not speaking from girlfriend, boyfriend, because I don't believe in treating a girlfriend like a wife, no way. So like the whole money issue thing, that is never going to come up, because we're not going to commingle money anyway, because you're just a girlfriend. Like, I don't treat them like a wife, but a wife. Now, a wife. Let's talk about this wife. The wife, we're gonna have some trust around this bad boy. You understand? Like, you gotta have trust. Like you gotta trust that I'm gonna do what I say I'm gonna do, and I gotta trust that you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do. I sleep every night next to you. I sleep hard, so I gotta trust that you ain't gonna kill me in the middle of the night. I gotta trust that your marbles is all there, and you can't assume that. But also, I can't go living wanting to be in a relationship and be married thinking that I could get killed by this woman in the middle of the night. I could very well get killed. I've been in an abusive relationship where I was emotionally abused, but I can't put that off on every woman that I'm ever going to meet for the rest of my life, because I'm gonna push every woman away. I'm gonna be accusatory. I'm gonna be hard to get along with. I'm not gonna be very open to much. Anything that triggers me from the past, I'm gonna bring it up and push it all off on this woman, and that's not fair to her. She did not do it. It's kind of like the person who comes on to the phone when I'm working on the phone and they cussing and they raising hell because they had a poor customer service representative. I didn't do it. They did it. I just know how to fix it. You know, everybody who come in your life is not gonna be a bully. And if you raise a child to look at every man as a bully, then I'm gonna have to ride with Chris. You're gonna push them toward not being with men, period. You're gonna push them in the opposite direction, because that's the best, easiest way for them not to come encounter anybody if they scared, is to just not, go through with it. Like if I have a fear of height, should I teach my children never to have a job where they have to climb?
Cold has an extreme effect on the airplane.
Even though I jumped out of airplanes? I jumped out of airplanes because I just faced it head on. And that's kind of how I look at everything in life. Like
you jump out the airplanes and I went down the snow slope and crashed into a wall.
Yeah, I did. I didn't go down the whole slope. I stayed on the bunny slope. I didn't know how to stop. But if you go,
there were kids.
If you raise the things about when you raise children, you don't know the outcome until you start looking around at where they are in their developmental stages. And typically that's adulthood. That's when you start to know if there was something that we messed up on.
Can I say something?
Of course.
I did not have to raise children, but I was babysitting at 6 years old. And when I was in the position where my parents was in a position where, you know, there was my mother's being abused and there were stepmoms and all that, and we've been moved from various families, and you know, there was various types of abuse and sexual abuse and all this and rape and all this. We as children had to band together as children. We had no adults to be depend on. So we had to do what we had to do to survive. And I've seen, like I said, I've seen my mother going through so many different types of abuses on the hands of my father, and every other woman that came through his hands had to deal with that. So it was my job to teach my children not to be subjected to that. So maybe I raised my daughter to be too strong, and maybe I raised my sons to be too soft. But guess what? My daughter is not going to be abused by a man, and my sons know how to take care of themselves, so they don't have to put up with the bullshit of women. So you know what? I don't apologize for that. I don't, like I said, I don't apologize for that. I appreciate them for being who they are, and I love my children to the heavens and back. And if, like I told my daughter, if somebody put their hands on you and you don't think you can defend yourself against them, then you fuck them up, and then you come to me, and then let them come to us, and then we'll figure it out. But I'm not going to sit here and let anybody abuse my children. You know, I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry, you know, you guys might not agree with me. And like I said, we're not in the same generation, but we all have children, and we may all have children at some point. And we all have to learn that today or tomorrow, we have to teach our children that disrespect and abuse is not okay. If somebody called me out to my name, then they have no place in my life. And when I develop and this is why I'm still single, because if you call me out of my name and you disrespect me and you whatever in public, you don't disrespect me in private, because I'm not going to expect that, and you decide to do that in public, then that's definitely not going to be acceptable. So I'm single, and I'm sorry for that. And as much as I would like to be in a relationship with somebody that I love and I care for and all of that, I cannot, because I'm not going to tolerate people, men abusing me, especially. Listen, if you want your back rub before you go to sleep, I do that. You get your mani pedi twice every month. You get that. When you in my house, you get your breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks in between. I do that. I wake up in the morning and fix your breakfast and your lunch so you can get some home.
What's a man good for?
Meals.
What's a man good for in your opinion?
Huh?
What's a man good for in your opinion?
I just want somebody to love me.
What's a man?
I want somebody to be there.
What's a man good for, in your opinion?
What's a man good for?
Yes. What's a man good for, in your opinion?
He's good for loving a woman that is going to be a lady in his presence and not embarrass him in front of his friends. And if he can provide, then so be it. He can provide. If he can't provide and she can, then so be it. But it does not make him any less of a man.
So
but
then
if he's gonna disrespect her and call her out of her name,
well, that's only a
I'm
certain
listening.
That's only a certain type of man. I run with men.
It's like I've been with men that had no money. I've been with men that had money, and it's like it's the same thing. It's like either they're dependent on me to take care of everything, or they're trying to keep me in the position where they're not going to lose me, or they're in a position where they have money and they think I want their money, so they're trying to control me, and that's not what I'm about. I just need a relationship where a man see me for who I am. I don't want your money. And I want you to realize that if today or tomorrow you leave, the only thing that I'm losing is you. I'm not losing your money or anything like that, because I never asked you for anything. You don't pay my bills. You don't do any damn thing like that. So
let me say this, what I'm noticing.
If you do anything for me,
let me say
really,
this.
really
What I'm noticing
appreciate it. If
from what you're saying,
you take me on a trip or you buy something from me.
Do you hear me speaking?
I'm ecstatic about that, but
do you
if
hear me
think
speaking?
That,
are you deaf?
and I was in a relationship with somebody, just like, well, you can tell your kids I'm not going with bowling with them because but it sounds like, let me tell you something. My kids already have a father. Okay? I'm not looking for a father for my children. I'm not looking for a role model. So when we have a problem, don't bring my kids up.
Are you trying to have a conversation or just talk?
I'm listening.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, CKQ.
Yes, I know.
I can hear you, CK.
She lost connection. That was a lot. Said. Is there anyone want to chime in? A lot was said there.
I had questions for her too, but I decided not to even try to get them in, because once it got emotional for her, for me, then it's like, all right, I'm down. I'm a man down then, because it was too serious for me, man. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like I've been on a couple of these different streams on different channels. It sounded like she was getting emotional. I was on one last week. The woman started crying and stuff too. At that point, I kind of back off, because it's like I don't even want to push the envelope on them like that, because who knows what the person in their household got to deal with after they get off that stream. So I just, I sit back after that, man. At the end of the day, I'm not a therapist. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that because she is only looking through the lens of trauma, and she's held on to that for so long that she can't see through any other lens. And because she kind of take on the personality as I'm a victim and this is what happened to me and this who I am, instead of this is what happened to me. She took looking at it, this is who I am, instead of it's just something that happened to me. It doesn't have to become who I am. But she had. I mean, but everybody don't get to that point at their stage of life. Some people go like how Chris was saying, and they just die alone because they continuously just feel like they can't trust anybody, and all they could do is depend on themselves. I have a couple of women in my family that's gonna die alone because of that. I have friends that might die alone because of that, because they don't feel like they can give the reins to a man or trust a man, but they also want that man. It's a difference with me is that I didn't really necessarily want that overbearing man. So I got who I got because I didn't want that. So it's kind of like I understand I understand where Tumaje is coming from, because I was that 3 years ago. Like it's I'm the victim. He keeps doing this to me. I'm depressed because of him, because he doesn't do this and he doesn't do that. And I've always looked at, I was traumatized. You met me when I was traumatized. You already know this is how I am. I've said all of those things, and nobody could get me to see any other way
at all.
And none of us on this panel is going to get her to see any other way.
Not at all.
She has to do that.
That's why I just kind of let it go.
Yeah.
I'm saying, exactly.
And she started I'm like, Target, she started to get emotional. And I can only imagine. I remember when I was abused. Like that emotional abuse I be talking about, that shit is real. Like I ain't never had anxiety. It's only 3 times I ever experienced any kind of anxiety. Right? And that was when I was in Fallujah, Iraq, and my spotter got shot through the neck. Because we was out by just us. I was anxious, and I had every right to be. And I don't apologize for that. The shit looks cool in the movie. That's a fucking movie. In real life, it's not like that. And when my ex used to call me, she abused me so much. When I see the number pop up, my heart started racing. I feel short of breath because that's how abusive she was. Never any fucking thing positive when I say hello. It was either motherfucker this or you goddamn bitch that, or why the fuck you didn't. It was never nothing nice. It was never nothing nice. And if she come by the shop, I give her whatever the fuck she wants. It's like I was being robbed. Like whatever your ass will do to just fucking leave with minimum invasion, just take it and go. The whole cash register if you want it, just take it and fucking leave and don't say nothing to me. And it was horrible. So I could only imagine if a woman getting beat up, shit, man, the kind of trauma you going through, bro, that's terrible. Like I can only imagine. Mine was only verbal. Was not physical. But I can only imagine that. But I'm not going to tell. Like, do I tell my sons that happened? Yeah, I tell them it happened. But I just give them caveats of advice on how to pick up on women who will probably behave like that. It was a female I wanted to date one time before I met Rose in Florida. Man, she was so damn traumatized. We just met. We ain't never met in person. And she was like she was accusatory as shit. And before it was said and done, she called me this nigga's name. Like what? Like nigga, you need a therapist. You don't need a boyfriend.
Hey, hey, John, have you ever had somebody cry on the first date?
Yes, she did that shit on the phone. When she called me this nigga's name, she was like, and I don't deserve that. Like,
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I was taking a girl out on a date, and you could tell like she was like in a traumatized situation. She was looking at her phone, she was crying, she was like, and I just want to have fun, and I'm like,
OMG.
Check, please.
Yeah, I was just like, hit this, calm me down. That didn't calm her down.
I'm sorry, I'm probably too old for this conversation.
No, you ain't. I don't know you unless you're 100 years old. You are not that much older than this panel. I can just tell you that.
My phone turned off, okay? So I just connected. So I don't even know what you guys are talking about right now. And
okay,
women that like OMG, and blah blah blah.
Listening
I feel I'm too old.
Listening is not your strong
pretty
suit.
soon.
Yeah, just relax a little bit.
What?
But yeah,
What?
I'll be 50 pretty soon.
yeah, just relax. But yeah,
You're how old?
so
Almost 50.
And what's your point? I'm still older than you, okay?
Okay. Hold on. Stop. E Black, finish your point.
Sorry.
So,
Sorry.
like I was saying, so I tried to calm her down, but she was definitely dealing with some past traumas from her current relationship, and that's what happens. People really do have personal relationships that traumatize the future relationships, and we all have to recognize mental health. Like, we talk about mental health as in a health that is like from childhood, but sometimes post-traumatic stress syndrome kicks in from a situation that you may have been a part of, and now forever and a day everybody's Tyrone, and it could be blocking your blessings.
Yep.
It could be blocking your blessings.
And
So
don't even realize.
Don't even realize it.
No,
But
I mean, not at all.
But it's one thing to understand what happened, what you went through, but it's another thing to learn what you went through. Like, learn the faults that you made, learn the decisions that you made, and then acknowledge them and move on. But when I see a lot of people in relationships that are just kind of like, hey, I went through this, so I'll never go through this again. And if you think like that, yeah, that's fine, but you got to understand that you're not learning from your lesson. You're just basically extending that issue into the next person, and that person then has to prove why they're different. And no man wants to prove why they're different other than sex.
Go ahead, John.
When I like I told you, when I was being emotionally abused, right? For about a year, I was a victim. I was a fucking victim, and I would tell the story and play victim to anybody who would listen. I'm telling you, like a victim from hell, right? I would not I was never accountable for any damn thing that I may have done to make her respond sometimes the way she responded. No, I'm a victim, goddammit. I'm gonna sulk and be depressed. That's me, and you're gonna listen. And when I did start dating, the first 4 motherfuckers I dated was just like her, because that's what I was attracted, traumatized women. That's what I was putting out there, and that's who was relating to me, and that's all. And I saw her ass in each and every one of them, every one, because they cursed at me, they was loud like her, they would do all that shit. I was like, damn. And finally I went to my pastor. He was like, why don't you just take a hiatus?
Please, for the love of Jesus, let me know.
I want to have this. And they say, you're not ready for that. You'll run a good girl lost. You will run first of all, a good girl, a woman that you're looking for is not going to be attracted to you right now, because you're putting off a very negative vibe that's very feminine, because you're not being accountable. A man is accountable, and you're playing victim. Oh, he didn't tell me what I wanted to hear. He told me what I needed to hear. See, you are not being in your manhood. You are being just like a woman. You're not being accountable. You're never taking into consideration. And some of the times she was cussing you out, you did something that she should have been cussing you out. I was like, and I got quiet. You know, when he make a point, you ain't really got much to say. You just sit there and listen like a whooped dog. And I did that. And I took a hiatus, and I noticed that the dynamic changed after about 2 years. And I was not the same person. I was more accountable, and I started attracting to different people. And I started to get more of a better quality female that didn't act like that. That was caring and nurturing and agreeable and nice, and someone who could carry a conversation with. So this is something to think about, because it do work on both sides. Men and women both can get abused.
Agreed.
John, what age were you when this happened?
41, 40.
My abuse happened when I was a child. At 6 and 7 years old, when I was raped and beaten and all that, and had nobody to talk to, and I had to depend on myself and my siblings, and we had to endure this, and we had no adults to depend on. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from, where I say I taught my kids not to be in that position and not to endure that, and not, everything else that we had to go through. Because at certain point, my older siblings they moved on because they ran away. And I was stuck in this situation. And I'm not regretting my childhood. It because for the simple fact that it taught me to be a better parent. And last year or a year ago, I actually was talking to my brother and my sister, and my brother's like, "Yo, no, this never happened." And it's like, you know what? You don't know what happened because you were never there. I was the one that felt this. I was the one that experienced it. And my sister was like, my sister hung up the phone, and I apologized to them for getting angry and getting upset. And my sister said, "No, I understand because you were hurt and you're apologizing to us for being upset for the things that you've been through, because I've experienced the same thing." And it's not that we have been through these kind of traumas. We are trying to prevent our children from developing these kind of traumas. And this is why I try to bring my kids to the point where they don't have to deal with it. It's not that I want my daughter to be stronger than a man or my son to be, more feminine than a woman. I just want them to be to the point where they don't have to endure the abuse that I've been through as a child. And as a woman, I had to be strong enough to sustain the rape and the abuse and everything else that happened to me as a child. Clement is now learning about this because I've never spoken to him about it. But I had to endure this. I had to go through this. It made me a better parent for this. And this is why I taught my daughter, be strong, be independent, so men are not going to take abuse of you. And I taught my sons, be empathetic, so you know what women are going through and you're there for them. And if they love you and they care for you, then be there for them. It's not that I don't want my sons to be, soft. I don't want my sons to be, this person that can be abused. I just want my kids to be strong enough where they can endure anything that comes towards them and anything that can affect their, progress in life. And I don't want them to be so vulnerable that people can come towards them and they can succeed to whatever it is that person is bringing towards them. I want to be strong to say, no, you know what, this is me. And this is what I am striving to be. And you're not going to take possession of who I am.
Do you think one person?
I don't oppose anything that anybody else is saying.
Hello? You hear me? Hello?
I'm sorry, son. I didn't hear you.
Gotcha. So, do you think
I can't hear you now?
Okay. Do you think that where are you listening to me? Are you listening on the stream or are you listening on YouTube?
YouTube.
Okay. Pause YouTube and listen only on the stream. That makes sense.
Huh?
Pause YouTube and only listen on the
I
stream.
have no son.
What?
I log into your channel and on YouTube, and this is where I'm talking to you from. I don't know anything else about what you're talking about. And
Okay.
stream and what is that?
Okay. Don't worry about it then. That's too complex to explain right now. So
yeah, I'm sorry.
Question. Do you think one person can sustain an entire life by themselves?
No, I don't. I don't think a person can sustain an entire life by themselves.
Okay,
maybe
so,
that's why.
Wait.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So then why raise your kids, daughter and sons, to have to sustain their entire lives by themselves?
Because I feel are you finished? I'm sorry. Can I speak now?
Yeah, go ahead. That was a question.
Because I feel if we're gonna be miserable in life, not only my daughters or myself, but anybody else, if we're gonna be miserable, then it's gonna be because we have no other choice. It's not because somebody else choose to make us miserable. Because I want you guys to be happy. I want you guys to have other people in your lives and all of this. But I don't want you guys to surrender your happiness to have a person just to say I have a person.
So you have to surrender your happiness to have a person then?
In my case, yes, but in your case, you doesn't. Because if you find somebody that make you happy, then yes. If your sister or your brothers find somebody that make them happy, then yes. I 100% approve of that. But right now, me personally, I don't find that person in my space that bring me that happiness. And I don't wish that on anybody else, for the simple fact that it's a very lonely space.
Yeah.
I've loved and I've lost and I've loved and I've loved and I've lost. And when I've loved and I've lost, I give myself time to get over it before I get into other relationships. But I haven't gotten to the point right now where I have a relationship where I haven't actually gotten into a relationship in the last maybe 3 years. I haven't gotten into a relationship, in 3 years, because I cannot be in a relationship with a person that cannot respect me and cannot, I don't care what you bring to the table or how much you make or all of that, but if you cannot respect me, I cannot be in a relationship with you if you cannot respect me. Respect is the number one thing in a relationship. And I'm sorry if everybody else on the panel disagree with this, but if you cannot respect me, then I cannot move forward from that.
Okay.
I know you and I get to know you, and if we don't have that respect, then I cannot move forward from there.
Go ahead, Chris.
How do you receive respect? What does a respectful man look like to you?
For me, respect is you don't call me out of my name. Okay. If we have a disagreement, then that's disagreement is, you know, we work on that in private, within our personal settings, and whatever the case is. Nobody outside of the two of us and our relationship should be involved in our private life. You know, and I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I was going to ask you a follow-up question, but when you're done.
Okay, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Have you ever asked a man what respect looks like to him?
Well, the problem is, I've never really been involved with a person that didn't have money, that think is money was actually what the whole thing was. So
Wait, hold on. Did you ever ask a man what he thought respect was?
you know, I actually haven't, because of the simple fact that every person I've ever been in a relationship with thought I was after their money because they had money. So, you know, people are attracted to me, and when I'm in a relationship with them, I find out that this person have money or whatever the case is, but they feel that they can, you know, treat me however, disrespect me because they feel I'm in that relationship for money. So it doesn't matter what I wanted or how I feel or how, you know, my respect, because people they were in relationship with previously were after money. So this is how I was judged. I'm sorry, you know, and this is, I'm not saying this because this is what I'm thinking. This is what I know for a fact because people I've spoken to that was related to that person or dealt with that person know this is what it is about. I'm sorry.
Hey, I just want to say this. You know, I would love to continue this conversation, but I gotta go.
Yeah, we're actually going to be closing out the panel.
No,
right?
no. Y'all continue, because trust me, y'all having a real deep conversation.
We are having a good conversation, but you know,
yeah, we all gotta
we still all gotta go to sleep at some point. So,
hey, y'all don't understand. CKQ is Master Petty.
You gotta work tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No. This was a great conversation. Hopefully, we can continue it next week. You know, all of you guys are more than welcome to come back. Yeah, this was a great talk, great conversation, a lot of back and forths and a lot of different points of view. But, you know, everyone was giving their points of view. But let's close out our usual style. We got the doctor, John.
Hey, you can hit me up on Black Wall Street Trading LLC. Be looking for my new YouTube channel. I'll keep you informed about that. You can also
John, I'm punching high.
What'd you say?
I don't know, but usually you let the person talk at this point.
You can also find me at behavioral underscore consultant on Instagram. The new channel, we're going to focus on a lot of psychology and some theories, and I'll probably vlog on that channel too, but I'll keep you posted as I build it.
We got E-Black.
Yo, salute to everybody. I'm E-Black at E-Black TV. Please make sure you come check me out. I do lifestyle, culture, technology, a little roasting. We be having fun. Come check me out.
Neek is the night.
Yeah, I had to change my name to Neek is the night, y'all. I used to be Neek at night, but somebody was like, excuse me, that's my name. So Married Ladies Opinions is the YouTube channel that please go to and subscribe. And then also on Instagram, I've been on there more than anything. Instagram, I'm on there like every Thursday and almost every day in a live. We and Married Ladies Opinions, we talk about relationships mainly. We don't just talk about marriage, we talk about all relationships in general, giving you tips and stuff like that. Even people can come on there and give us tips. But anyway, this Thursday, 10 p.m., which is today's Tuesday. I have somebody else who wants to talk about their poly relationship, but it's totally different. Last time I had one man and two women. This time I have one woman and two men. Well, she has two boyfriends. But anyway, so come check that out on Instagram, Married Ladies Opinions. And I want to thank CKQ for letting me come up here and rant sometimes. Sometimes I'll be off subject, and, But anyway,
always welcome. You know that.
But make sure y'all subscribe to CKQ on here and Instagram, CKQ Clips. Thank you.
We got Chris. Can we do Chris yet?
Hi, my name is Chris. I have a channel called The Blooming Ebony, where we talk about femininity and also a very similar conversation was had on my channel about the independent, dependent woman, the woman that loves being a wife, embraces her role as a wife, but still makes sure that she has something on the side to ensure that she is not losing herself and her family. She has a sense of identity and has extra income for other things wherever she pleases. So we have a conversation on that on my channel if you're interested. And you can also find me on Instagram at The Blooming Ebony. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for CKQ Podcast. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
We got Tack Williams.
Hey guys, my name is Tack Williams. I want to say thank you to CKQ. I want to say shout out to everybody on the panel. You guys are the epitome of endurance, tolerance, patience. And if I didn't know it before the night, I know it now. So you guys, anybody watching this, come over to CKQ's channel, hit that like, subscribe. This brother gonna give you the mic. He gonna let you have a voice without judgment. I mean, if you need proof, watch this. Watch the one tonight. He will let you have a voice. That's pretty much it, man. It's been great. I love coming here though. It's cool, man. It's cool, man. Ain't no bullying, no judgment, just facts. People with all types of perspectives. We got a doctor. We got a TV host on here tonight. We got a boxer. And yeah, man, it's all good. And we got a Blooming Ebony. Yeah, it's all good. We even got a Nick at Night. So it's wonderful. That's it.
Ain't at anymore.
And before that, our panel, we got, last but not least, we got Tu Madre, the antagonist.
Hi guys. Thank you for coming to view CKQ at night, and I really appreciate you guys listening to me. I love you all, and I hope you guys are back the next time I vent or whatever the case is that I do. Love you guys. Okay. Good night.
Awesome. To close out the panel, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an amazing conversation. We all had a lot of different backs and forths, and a lot of different opinions were shared on this. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel for more content like this. We're constantly having conversations to help every one of us grow, to see different perspectives, different walks of life, and how we can all grow from that to our fruitful end that we choose, whether that be a marriage, whether a successful life. But we're trying to help you all get to where you want to be. If you haven't already, follow everyone here. Everyone here has a channel. But until next time, we will have this conversation next week. So, good night.
Bye.
If we're doing everything right, I think we should be vetting our wives, like go to their parents, go to their fathers.
They know they shouldn't have let me start speaking my mind in the booth, start speaking the truth. Might get shot.
I think you're just saying, okay, actions have consequences, and I'm not going to support this person's actions. You don't have to cancel them and say like I'm never. I hate you.
Innocent lives have to die.
But the whole thing is men are I also. That man was on the other side doing the exact same thing, and his decision with his eyes was to walk away.
Inside your soul.
Now we can paint the perfect picture without belittling each other. Cause under God's system,
we are equipped to handle that responsibility. But not every man is fit to handle that responsibility.
I done seen Flint, Michigan,
and that's just being
cities. They pissing in project buildings that got a roof that leaks, resulting in missing ceilings. Hard to sleep. Children going to schools dealing issues deep.
So I think society does make it more difficult for short men, but I don't think that it's impossible that they could find someone.
And expecting you to do your part. It ain't hard to see they trying to keep black in the back, just like Rosa Parks. Cops shooting blacks as if they get a token from God. School rob you with needed resources.
Is the weaker vessel and the more vulnerable.
Absolutely, 100%.
You don't look at the man like, oh, poor son, you were violated. No, you like, right.
And nobody shift my stick like some cars. And when you're lonely in your darkest thoughts, come, I know it's hard, but God shines his light on all I play their part, and it's the start.
Put myself in a situation where I can only rely on a man. Like if I'm married and being a stay-at-home mom, I need to have a backup in case anything happens. I can't only rely on him. You know what I'm saying?
A flower will grow once you plant the seed inside your soul.
Poet, and the best part of me shows it. Here to speak the message of what is known, but not what it takes to expose it. Listen closer as I take you on a mental path. See divisions, the math, hoping we clash on lower levels just like in the past. Before we begin to see spared lives, keep in mind the first 3 letters of unity starts with you and I. And maybe then we can all thrive, changing the narratives of our lives, finding belief from inside. We gotta come together, different feathers, and we fly together despite any weather, evolving up forward just like propellers, using negatives to fuel positives. How we change the mark, just like taking the devil's flames just to warm the coldest heart. Mama knew it from the start. DC mode would be a spark to lead the light that works its way out, illuminate through the dark. Funny cause my skin is dark despite the stereotypes exemplify